Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexiot's here on Saturday. And of course, on Saturdays, we like to share the love for somebody who's important in Raptors' sphere of influence and things. And today we're sharing the love for Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, Teresa Resch. Now, listen, she's an unsung hero in the Raptors organization. She's somebody who doesn't really get a lot of publicity, somebody who really doesn't, want the limelight, I can tell, and somebody that is a tireless worker, somebody who's a driving force behind the excellence of the Toronto Raptors organization. In some ways, Masai is a huge driving force for this team, but part of the reason why he is so good is he picks the right people to be in the organization. And I would say that he would probably tell you one of the best people he decided to have around this organization and be an important part of this organization for 10 years. She's basically been here the whole time Masai's been here, y'all. So she's very much been a big part of our success during Masai's tenure as being in charge of the Raptors. Teresa Resch is a real one. In fact, in some ways, she is like a Raptor freak inside of the organization. She is cutthroat. She is diehard. She is obsessed with making the Raptors the most elite, best organization in the entire NBA. If you wonder why we have such great activities, events, and organized things happening, like I can talk about like three things that happened yesterday that probably were helped and facilitated by Teresa Resch. So I really want to put a huge spotlight on an unsung huge part of our organization and somebody who's absolutely a trailblazer, somebody who's absolutely making inroads in new places for women in sports management, and absolutely is a driving force for encouraging and allowing women more opportunities in sports in different ways, in all kinds of different ways. She is an example herself. And then on top of that, with her power and her position, she yields it to go and wields it to go do things for women in sports also at the same time. I can talk about all kinds of stuff about her. And listen, I didn't hardly know anything about her until yesterday. But when I dug deep, I was like, holy crap, this woman is amazing. She is amazing. She's from Rome, Minnesota, a small town girl from Minnesota who just grew up, and she was on a volleyball team in high school, and she played volleyball. She's tall. She's like over 6 foot tall. And she went to a tournament when she was in this volleyball team, and she fell in love with the event of having the tournament, of the teams coming and organizing it and making it all like a big deal. She felt that feeling, and she's like, people do this for their job, is like get this stuff together. And that's when she fell in love with the whole thing, was when she went to that volleyball tournament. And well, she went to school and went to grad school for sports management. And she went to grad school in South Florida. Yeah, in South Florida, in Miami Heat territory. In fact, when she was in grad school, she took all kinds of internships, all kinds of sports related internships. And in that area of the United States, in South Florida, around Miami, there's a lot of different kind of sports going on. A lot of different kinds of sports. You got collegiate sports, you got professional sports, you got all kinds of different sports played. And she took a lot of different little internships. She said she was the queen of internships because she took so many internships. And of course, you know what an internship is. It's working hard, doing a good job, and you don't get paid. And that showed the dedication and the heart and the determination of her to make herself into something in this field. There's a couple of things about her that make her good at her job. She's obsessive, and she really, really likes doing research, kind of like me. And she will go crazy on researching subjects. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a potpourri, a wild card of subjects. It just has to be apropos to what the Raptors' needs are at that moment. The whole thing that happened with the year in Tampa at Amalie Arena, and all the things we had to do, all the legwork, all the calls, all the figuring out where they're going to stay, all the figuring out the logistics of moving all our stuff down there, all the figuring out of everything to make the year in Tampa happen, centered around coming from Teresa Resch. That she, in some ways, was a huge part of why our relocation of being so inconvenient was a little bit weakened to being inconvenient. She made it more comfortable. She was the one. And her fingerprints are on everything, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Masai is the figurehead in charge of this team. But she is like a CEO, as he describes. She could run this team herself. And in some ways, when she started with the Raptors, she was more in operations kind of stuff, as far as like, making sure the guys have hotel rooms when they get drafted and they come here for the first time, making sure people are taken care of for different things. In some ways, she's a catch-all for anything the Raptors need. She is that expert. She is that person. She's that person that will do the research. She's that person that will make the phone calls. She's that person that will make sure shit gets done. And in some ways, she's that kind of leader that she will go in and do it herself. If people will not be doing it, she will go in and make sure it gets done herself. In some ways, she is the reason why we had a ballroom to practice in at Summer League. She is the reason why Dennis Schröder got a plane sent to him in Germany. This is the craziest thing. Dennis continues to have huge problems flying in and out of Germany, even though he's the most valuable player at FIBA World Cup, an absolute German hero. They still give him crap at the border when he's flying back to North America. It was crazy. In fact, he got waylaid. This was part of the reason why he missed his media day. We found out because Dennis did another clip and dropped it yesterday, showing himself on the Raptors private jet, flying from Germany by himself on a jet to North America. And he was impressed. You could tell. Like, it was like we rolled out the red carpet for him, and we showed an investment and a commitment, and that we care, and we really are happy he's coming. It really touched him. I could tell. Well, why do you think we sent him that jet? Who do you think got that arranged? Who do you think got that jet for Dennis to make it to media day on time? That's right, Teresa. I'm telling you. She is doing all kinds of stuff for the Raptors. In some ways, the excellence of the stuff, like the apparel that I wear, the excellence of the branding of We the North. She's had hands on all of this, y'all. I'm going to tell you that right now. And this is the thing. That's a testament to how badass Masai Ujiri is, that he recognizes an amazing talent like her and takes a chance on her, because her path wasn't directly to the Raptors. It's very interesting how she ended up with us. It's very, very interesting. While she's in South Florida grad school, she's taking all kinds of internships, like I was saying. One of the internships she did for a while was she was an usher for the Miami Heat. Our executive vice president of basketball operations was at one time an usher for the Miami Heat in their arena. Yeah, she did that to learn that side of the business. That's what I'm saying. She goes and does other jobs that people that are lower in the organization do, so she understands them. She understands a lot of them. She got an internship with Disney at the Wide World of Sports arena complex they have down there. They had, they had some of the bubble games at that during the Orlando bubble. While she was there, she worked an event with the NBA in the complex, and she met a whole bunch of NBA people, and they hit it off. And that was her first foot in the door with the National Basketball Association, was doing that internship at Disney with the Wide World of Sports. She met some people, and she got a job at the front office of the NBA. She went to work at the front office of the NBA. And well, one of her duties at the front office of the NBA was to help work with international growth of basketball around the world. So she was assigned to Giants of Africa, to Basketball Without Borders. And she was sent over to Africa to help set up things over there. Well, guess who she met over there? Guess who she met over there? That's right. And that's when it all started. Masai was super impressed with how she set up things for Basketball Without Borders in very different locations. She wasn't just doing Africa. She did Asia. She did a lot of different countries in trying to expand basketball's reach internationally. That's what the NBA sent her to do. Well, Masai saw what she was doing, and he thought she was doing such a good job. He hired her to come and be with just the Raptors. That's how she ended up with us. She's a main reason why they added female camps to the Basketball Without Borders. Everywhere she goes, she adds an element of trying to include women and get them more involved in sports wherever she goes, whatever she does. This whole WNBA bid that we just went through, she was a huge driving force behind it. And part of the reason why I wanted to share the love for her today is because of this disappointing decision this week. That in some ways, listen, we're going to get there somehow, some way anyway. We know this, Teresa. So, don't give up hope. And we appreciate you. And I know that right now this is annoying. And Ed Rogers is an asshole. But you know what? We're going to figure this out. We're going to get women's basketball on the rise even more so in this country, even more so. She's a huge driving force in this. She's a huge driving force. And when Masai says, women help me run this business, well, Teresa Resch, number one, vice president of basketball operations. Yeah, she's got fingerprints all over everything, y'all. All over everything. She's always doing talks and promoting women and more women in higher places in basketball and sports in general. A couple of years ago, she was almost taken from our organization by the Chicago Blackhawks. They were looking at her to be their new GM, to run their team. And that would have broken historic rules. It would have changed things completely. The first ever female GM in the NHL, that'd been huge. She could have done it. She could have done it. Ultimately, the Blackhawks went with their interim general manager and just kept him instead. But she was very close to getting lured away by the NHL and the Chicago Blackhawks to be in charge of their team. That says a lot right there. So in some ways, she's an enigma. I went and looked at her Twitter. She's got hardly any intention, but she's such a diehard. Seriously, y'all. She is obsessed with the Raptors winning more championships, just like Masai. She is trying and pushing every single day and all the things that she does to make us have the most elite, best franchise in sports anywhere in the world. That is a big reason why we have such quality, is because of Teresa Resch. So I love you, Teresa. I honestly do. She really does have my heart. Like, she's amazing. She is amazing. And I love you so much. And we want you to just live long and prosper with the Raptors and be here forever, as long as you can. I understand if other opportunities come up down the road that are just too good that you can't pass up. I understand we may part ways at that point. But at this point, I am so happy that you have been a huge underlying driving force for the Toronto Raptors, their excellence, and everything that they do. And we appreciate you. We love you, Teresa, is what we're going to say this morning. That's right. That's what we're all about. The Share the Love Club. If you guys have any more questions about Teresa Resch or things about, whatever, definitely put them in there. Tell me how you want to share the love for Teresa this morning also. Such an important person in our organization. You can ask any of the players, the coaches, the management, anybody around this organization, and they will tell you just how amazing and incredible the job she does and just how she does it with such a quality. She has certain philosophies. Her philosophies are, I want to make people on my team better. Her philosophies are, keep trying, keep going. You'll get through. Don't give up. It's stuff like that is the way she is, and you can tell the parallels between her and Masai's journeys are very similar. Masai was doing crazy stuff for the NBA without getting paid early in his career out in the NBA as an intern or as a very low paid scout. So these people paid early with, a lot of work and hard work with very little reward. And this is where they get to. CEOs at big time, executives of a big time team in the NBA. And I'm proud of them. It's almost like Masai recognizes him and her. And that is part of the reason why he brought her here, is that. Yeah. But yeah, oh my gosh, Teresa Resch, we love you. And long live you and your what you're doing with the team. In some ways, she is that fanatic like us on the inside. She really, really is. Like, she has to step back sometimes because she gets so, she's constantly thinking about how to make the Raptors better, y'all. And she's constantly doing stuff to do that. All right, let's talk about what happened yesterday in Edmonton. Masai Ujiri dedicating that Giants of Africa court in Edmonton. Who do you think facilitated and made phone calls to get that to happen? Who do you think made sure that the deadlines were met so that they could have this ribbon cutting out west while they were on the training camp trip? Who do you think got that all done? Yeah, you know who did. And whenever this kind of stuff is going on, realize it is her. Realize it from now on, Raptors fans. And in some ways, she doesn't want publicity. She don't want to be put on blast, but she deserves it. And in some ways, her story and legend will be told before everything's all said and done. Trust me. This is the kind of person that deserves a Lifetime movie. Seriously, or just a movie in general, a biopic. They say biopic, but it sounds like it's a medical term. So I always like biopic. What do you think? What are you checking for cancer or something? You call me a biopic? No, it's a biopic. Sound it out better. Biopic. Who says biopic? Anyway, that's just a little side gripe there right now. All right, let's check in with y'all's comments. Very exciting day in Raptors Day yesterday with the open practice out in Burnaby, British Columbia. Very interesting things from that. We had a Darko interview. We had a Chris Boucher interview. We got a very interesting interviews from yesterday. We'll be talking about all of it. Trevor J's here first. Good morning, Raptors family. Happy Saturday from Columbus, Ohio, home of the Trents. Yes, hold it down there. Nice, Trevor J. Commissioner Trevor J., our Commissioner of Fantasy Sports. Thank you, Trevor J. Once again, since Trevor's here, I want to show y'all the Trevor J. Cup. This is a cup that will be given to the winner of the in-season tournament. I have assigned all the regular Raptor freaks and people that help this channel, support this channel, are involved in a competition that one of the teams will win the in-season tournament this year, the first ever NBA in-season tournament. And the person who represents that team will get this trophy just for having that team. So, yeah, this is the Trevor J. Challenge trophy. And what a beauty, eh? What a beauty. Yeah, eh? Yeah, you could have that in your living room one day, eh? Yeah. All right. There you go. Thank you, Trevor, and safe travels. And I'm glad to hear that you're in Ohio right now. Yeah. I don't know why I said that. MSJ is here. Good to see you, Chris. He's saying that Scotty Barnes looks good in that open practice. Yeah, there's a couple of guys that look real good. But you know what looks the best to me? That weave. That weave looks so nice. That is what the flex offense should have been the last couple years. The weave they were doing out there. This is the thing. I was saying this last year, wasn't I, guys? You remember? I was like, Nick, why don't you do some passing drills before the fucking game? Maybe you can get them more connected with passing drills. That's just what old coaches always did. I mean, come on. And then we see at the open practice, Darko's got them doing the three-man weave. He's got them doing all the weave stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got a real coach again. Oh, thank God. It's like that was a simple, easy, logical answer for problems with connectivity. Just fucking start doing passing drills for Pete's sake. Get over yourself, Nick Nurse, is what I'm saying on that. So yeah, I was very happy to see the weaving and the really interesting ball movement. And one of the interesting things about those sets that they're running, you can tell that this is the thing that's different, that's really important, is running through the sets. I don't care if you're off ball and you're not doing anything. You need to continue to move. Sometimes these guys are doing these sets, and if they're not a part of the play or as far as getting the pass or throwing the pass, they'll just stand around and they'll be useless. Well, one of the big things that Jordy and also Darko care about is usage of efficiency of all the players on the court. That nobody should be standing around at any time. That's that is energy or somebody that could be used for some sort of action, even if they don't touch the ball. And that's the thing I like. Like there was a play that I watched where they weren't playing. There was just a drill of passing around. And basically the action ended with Scotty hitting a three in the corner. But Siakam, if you didn't notice, was cutting through the lane towards him at that. And Scott had the option to hit him with a pass closer instead of shooting the three. But he made the three. So there's options there, and there's movement off the ball, without the ball. That's very, very interesting. A lot of cutting, like they've been saying, there's a lot of cutting going on. The other really interesting thing about yesterday is Dennis. Dennis was playing with the starters. Dennis was very much one of the five guys with Jakob, OG, Scotty, and Pascal. So I think we see it. And even Darko said in the interview after the scrimmage that Jakob has to get used to playing with the new point guard, Dennis. So it's all right there. I mean, we predicted this. A lot of people were like, no, Dennis isn't going to start. He's going to come off the bench. Well, what did we say on this Raptor Free channel? A lot of us. How do you not start the MVP of FIBA World Cup? Seriously, how do you not do that? And he looked great out there. Like, honestly, he was hooking up people. He had a really nice natural chemistry with Jakob. And there's not selfish stuff going on out there. You can watch the clips of the open gym and you're like, these guys are playing as a team. They really are. In some ways that's very different and refreshing. And I love that. But you're right. Scotty looked really good. There were points in the third quarter. They're saying he took over. He had a few dunks in a row. And of course he was hitting his outside threes, y'all. That's the thing. His shot looks way better and he's hitting his threes. Good to see you, Chris. Always good to see you. Good morning and have a great Saturday, man. Trevor J saying, here's his words of wisdom for today. Love is a powerful thing. Sometimes makes you smile. Sometimes it will make you happy. Also, sometimes can break your heart. Yes, it does all those things. But yes, we still need it to survive. You don't necessarily. You can be really tough, crazy hermit that lives on his own, nowhere. But yeah, in some ways, it's better to have love and some sort of like connection with people. Sure. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Love is a powerful thing. It can lift you to the highest places and it can really hurt you and make you devastated too at the same time. Yeah. Great words of wisdom, Trevor J. And today I'm speaking love for Teresa. Teresa is amazing and we love her. And y'all, we need to champion her more and talk about her more because in some ways people don't. And they should. They really, really should. She does so much advocating for women and empowering women around sports in all kinds of different ways. She had a big part in getting the all-female broadcast for our team a couple years ago. She's had a big part in having more staff around the Raptors organization be female. There's some very, very strong female people in our organization like Shelby and Teresa. And they're important people that do a lot of great things for our guys and make sure they have the ability to compete at the highest level. And I cannot go on and on about this enough. A small town girl from Minnesota has become Canadian in the last 10 years. She is a Canadian at this point, even though she's American born and all that stuff. She's dedicated to our team in a lot of ways. And like I said, she's like us. Her heart is so Raptors that she lives, breathes, eats, sleeps Raptors and just brainstorming everything on how to make the team better, whether it's from whatever angle. And she's a jack of all trades. I mean, she puts her hands in every kind of arena that has to do with the sports franchise. There's nothing that she's saying, yeah, I'm above that. No, she's getting in there and she's involved in concessions things. She's getting in there and she's involved in making the experience of going to a Raptors game better in whatever way she can. And I appreciate her so much. I have a lot of love for Teresa Resch. I really, really do. She's amazing. Oh, my gosh. Monique is here. Good to see the super fan, Monique Lawrence, the greatest. We love you, Monique. And I know Monique has just been having a blast this week with training camp, all the news, all the information coming out, and the promise of a basketball game tomorrow. Oh, Mo, we're so close. We're so close. Can you believe how we've weathered this summer this way with FIBA World Cup helping us out and Rico Hines runs and Summer League? Now we're here. We're on the eve of our preseason game against the Kings tomorrow in Rogers Place in Vancouver. I love it. I love it. I love it, Mo. She's saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Best practice we've seen. Bring on the Kings. Bring on the whole league. That's right. It occurred to me, too. I love you, Tommy. And I know you went to the open practice last year. But it seems like this one this year may have been a little bit more on another level. Last year was weird. I know you went to it and it was exciting. You got to meet Scott. You got that great picture of you with Scotty Barnes. But in some ways, it seemed like the open practice that you went to in Victoria last year wasn't as energetic and wasn't as kind of like what we saw in this gym, this one. It seemed like y'all really came out and supported more heavy in Victoria. I didn't like the Simon Fraser crowd. It seemed small. But for some reason, the stuff that happened on the court last night seemed like it was way more beneficial and further along than our open practice last year. And that's what I got. And it seems like Monique's saying the same thing. The best practice that we've seen is what Mo's saying. Tommy Duke is here also, of course, West Coast Raptor Freak president. Tom Duke holding it down in Victoria, British Columbia, up, of course, at 6:55 in the morning with us. Tommy's saying good morning. And he's got a picture of Masai with Teresa in the emote. See, this is all right. Listen, in some ways, I am to Masai as Tom is to Teresa. In some ways, this is a driving force on this channel. He's constantly doing stuff and amazing things and letting things happen for us, like putting her in the emotes. I had no idea he was going to do that this morning. And look at it. It's so awesome to see Masai and Teresa in our little emote box. If you're a member of this channel, you have access to these specialty emotes. She's saying, I remember Teresa being recognized by Masai after we won the championship and made me think she must be a big influence on things. In some ways, she's like number two. You know, her and Bobby are actually at the same level of not seniority of like who's in charge. They're equals. Bobby Webster is not a boss to Teresa Resch. They're actually equals. They're both just the second level below Masai. And there's a couple of people that are at that same level too. Dr. Alex is actually at that same level with those guys too, just so y'all know. It's just the hierarchy of our organization. Masai is definitely above and beyond on top, and he's the ultimate like say on things, but they have a lot of power. Bobby may be more the GM, like doing basketball operation stuff and in charge of that, but Teresa's more operations in general. But there's also been a lot of more talk that Teresa has more increasingly been involved in the basketball decisions, that she is a lot more involved in the technical like trades and drafting and all that kind of stuff as time has gone on. So that's pretty cool to me too, that in some ways her role is kind of ambiguous. She can do GM stuff. She could have been the GM of the Blackhawks and she would have done an excellent job. So that's an interesting thing about the hierarchy. In some ways, she's an equal. She's very much an equal at that vice president level. That's kind of how they say, okay, if you're a vice president of the company, well, you know, you're under the president, obviously, but she's the same level as GM Bobby Webster, just so y'all know. Yeah, she is a huge influence on things. The whole scheme of like bringing in Drake and having Drake be involved in like our look and working with him and in making our apparel look better in the last 10 years, a lot of that has to do with Teresa, the branding, the look of the branding, you know, just different ideas, like different programs she's involved in. Like, you know, the stuff like Pascal coming down and doing the court in downtown Toronto. She had a part in that, I'm sure. You know, she had a part in all kinds of things. When we got the buses down in Florida with the messaging, the Black Lives Matter, Teresa, all over that. That's Teresa, y'all. Seriously. With those badass black buses we had in Florida riding around when we were in the bubble, the Black Lives Matters buses. I'm telling you, that's Teresa. You think about when you see that kind of stuff, realize that grunt work, that making stuff happen work, that's her. That is her, y'all. That is her. Monique is saying, hang on, it jumped ahead. Let me see what's going on. I love seeing y'all fill it up this morning. Good to see so many names in the chat. We'll get to every single one of your comments. You know how I do it here. That's right. Monique saying that interview with Jama and Dennis's video. Yeah, the Dennis video was fun. He really did enjoy being on that jet. He'd never been on a jet by himself like that. So it's kind of made him feel really cool. He was upset though in some ways because he wanted to bring his family over, but he couldn't get tickets for all of them at the first flight. So he's going to come over by himself. And he was going to let Ellen and the kids stay in Germany and be with friends and family. He's going to be over in the West Coast anyway. So they're waiting to bring them over. They're going to come over like early next week. And so he's like trying to time it all. And it didn't work in a certain way. So, of course, Teresa and the Raptors organization send him the private jet for the team. And he's flying over this crazy long over Atlantic flight. And he's on the plane by himself. And he's like, this was the most comfortable, easiest flight I've ever gone on. This is what billionaires do all the time. And he's like, this was the best flight ever. I don't even feel like I flew over. And in some ways, that was smart by the Raptors because we got the ability for him to hit the ground running and get right into it and not be exhausted or jet lagged from taking commercial flights. The man flew from Germany to New York, to Toronto, to Vancouver, and like that, and that. And he still looked fresh when he showed up for the first day of training camp. So I'd say that's a huge success by Teresa and Masai and the rest of them for making the call. Let's send him the private jet. Let's send him the private jet. And it's fun. Watch Dennis's clip and tell me you can't love this guy. Seriously, this dude is a badass. And in some ways, it's like you see him being humbled by the idea of being on that plane and him not being like arrogant about it or showy about it. It's like, I can't believe I'm on this plane. In some ways, you can tell he's a grounded dude. He's a really, really grounded dude for, the right mix of confidence and arrogance to be really good in the NBA, but still very humble and grounded at a certain level also. So we love you, Dennis. And yeah, let's talk about the Jama interview. The Jama interview was really, really good. In fact, people are like posting it all over the place, and they're realizing that in some ways when Jama went to Golden State to coach with Steve Kerr, that we really missed out on something. And I made this connection. In some ways, our development dropped off in the years while he was with Steve Kerr. And when Jama Mahlalela went to the Golden State Warriors, our development kind of stymied a bit in some ways. Did you notice that? Seriously. And now, hopefully, because he's back, we're going to see things better. In fact, one of the things I was saying that's different already is, well, look at the way Scott's shooting. Look at the way Chris is shooting. Now, we know how ugly Chris's shot has been, shooting with two hands and so much spin coming off the left hand that the rotation is all wonky. Sometimes it's going like this. Sometimes it's going like this. Sometimes it's going like this. It's crazy how Chris shoots. And Nick was always like doing shooting schools and had the Noah system, and he was a shooting guru with a shooting app and all this stuff that he endorsed. Fuck all that shit. That was bullshit. Why didn't you teach them how to fundamentally shoot correctly, Nick? Like, seriously, because already I'm seeing these guys are shooting more correctly with their form, and we're seeing results, especially with Scotty right now. Now, Jama said this in his interview. He said, we cleaned up his shot. We made him more fundamentally right. And I'm like, holy crap. What is this? Like logic in real basketball, like reasoning and like regular old historic basketball things that coaches do to help players be better at certain things, like weave drill before the game to get passing better, or we're gonna make you work on your squaring up your shoulders and go up straight, and then all of a sudden you'll shoot straight. I mean, hello, rocket science. Is this not rocket science or not? It's like, what is this? Why can't you figure this out, Nick? And they're like, oh, these guys are shooting so bad. Oh, you keep shooting your crazy, funky ass shots, y'all. Yeah, just be you. You do you, y'all. Shoot it like this, Chris. Woo, woo. Shoot it like Moses Brown. Shoots a free throw. Please, please shoot it more like that. Please. I mean, I get it. We can make some good inroads and progress just by making saner and smart basketball coaching decisions. Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen right there. Thank you, Monique, for bringing both those up. Highly recommend the Jama interview. And it's making people realize that maybe there were problems with Nick, and Jama is a superstar, and we're really happy he's back. It was also confirmed, as we said, that he is our offensive coordinator for our team. He's the offensive coach under Darko. So, yeah, I love it. I love all that stuff about Jama. And we're very, very pleased to have our Canadian coach back on our staff. Trust me, we really are. In some ways, on the down low, besides all the great things about Darko, getting Jama back is a huge thing. It really, really is. Kareem saying, just finished watching Darko's after practice interview. This guy is absolutely head over heels for Precious, and it seems like he continues to say his name when it comes to untapped potential. Yeah, and he should. Precious didn't play in the open practice yesterday because of a groin strain, but Darko says it's nothing, and he could actually maybe play tomorrow. I think that they just held him out for consideration just to be safe. Otto also not playing yesterday, but in some ways they said they're ramping him up. In some ways, an old vet like him doesn't need the chance of doing something stupid in an open practice like that. They're not coming there to see Otto. They're coming there to see Pascal, Scotty, and the rest of those guys. So in some ways, holding out Otto is a good precaution, especially for something like this. But we could see Otto play tomorrow, and we could see Precious play tomorrow also. I love his enthusiasm about Precious. This is exactly what we need. In some ways, this enthusiasm about Precious should have been there around him the last 2 years that we've had him on our team. and it kind of pisses me off. Then in some ways, what if we start seeing huge jumps and leaps with Precious now that Darko's here? I love how he's talking about our guys. He talks them up. This is one of the big differences we're finding out so far. Is in an interview, he's more likely to talk these guys up. You have a problem with Pascal. You're saying, oh, you're asking me about Pascal. Well, Pascal's been wonderful. He's been amazing. He's come in. He's showing a good effort. He's really listening. He's buying into what I'm trying to tell him to do. Like, that's awesome. Nick wouldn't say like a lot of complimentary things in his interviews. He really wouldn't. He really, really wouldn't if you really think about it. And he'd be more likely to throw him under the bus than actually say something really glowing, like really, really glowing about, like enthusiastically glowing. So like you say something like, yeah, Chris had a good game, something like that. But meanwhile, Darko's like, Pascal has been amazing. Oh, that's a difference. Exuberance and energy. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's pretty good. Butthole face. Ooh, There's differences here. There's levels here. And I love how enthusiastic he is about the untapped potential of Precious Achiuwa, because he's exactly right. I mean, they're asking him, what are you going to do with Precious? He's like, well, I want to see him pass more. I want to see him drive more. I want to see him do everything more. In some ways, this dude can do everything just like Scott can. And it'd be stupid not to try and develop everybody as much as possible. And that's what Darko reiterated yesterday. I don't care how old you've been in this league. He's going to try and still develop Thad Young, y'all. It don't matter how long you've been in the league or how old you are or how many years you played the same way. Darko is still going to try and develop you a little bit further, is basically what he's saying. That's right, Thad Young. You're going to get some new skills in year 18 of your career. That's right, because Darko's your coach now. That'd be funny. Like all of a sudden we see Thad do something we never ever seen him do his whole entire long-ass NBA career. And we'd be like, wow, there's Darko's development. Thad Young just added this to his game. That's what I'm saying. This dude's not limiting himself. And it doesn't say it right there. What I just said about Thad Young, that, it doesn't exemplify what I'm saying right here. Sue is here. Good to see. Let's play it again, Sue. Sue has a great music reaction YouTube channel. And I hope you give her a follow and some subscribes and watch some of her clips. Always doing some great classic music, classic rock and classic songs, but also some newer stuff too at times too. Play it again. Sue's a great follow. So find her channel on YouTube. Seriously. Good morning, Raptors freaks. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. That's right. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. I hope everybody's having a great long weekend starting out so far. And thank you for being here with me on a Saturday morning for the Saturday Share the Love Club for Teresa Resch. Oh my gosh. Honestly, what an amazing woman. Oh, wow. She's amazing. That's right. Tom Duke has got, what is that? That's a turkey. He's got 2 turkeys on patrol. Look out. Look out, turkeys. You might be in trouble this weekend. That's right. Granny Evelyn is in the chat this morning. I love you, Evelyn, so much. Granny swag. Bringing the great Raptor swag to our meet and greets all the time. Granny made the Raptor Freak shirt. We love you, Evelyn, so much. Good morning, family. I'm so happy for the boys watching them at training camp. Let's go, Raptors. We the North. There you go, Evelyn. You go. And we love you, Evelyn. And say hi to baby Candace. And just have a great Thanksgiving weekend. Canadian Evelyn, your Canadian Thanksgiving. That's right. We love you, Evelyn. Fiercey saying, good morning, family. Happy Saturday. Thank you, Trevor. Powerful words. I also agree. The recent interviews give me utmost joy and optimism for the season ahead. Teresa is amazing. Glad we have her. Yeah. Give those flowers, Fiercey Salsera. Scotty Barnes, Twitch family from last year. Still Twitch family today because we've reunited in the recent week. Yeah. Trevor, thank you for your words of wisdom. Love is a powerful thing. And in some ways, we want to use it for good and healing and positive stuff. And sometimes things just run their course and it's going to be sad anyway. That's just how it is. It's the nature of the beast. Yeah. And the interviews have been fantastic. I'm a little worried about Chris. Let's just put it this way. And it's not me trying to pull strings or anything like that, but he's had a little bit of an attitude issue right now. A little bit. I can tell. There was that whole thing with Grady going around interviewing people with the little microphone about Drake lyrics. The day Drake drops his big album yesterday, Grady's going around saying, the lyric, and he wants the teammates to say it back to him. And he does it to OG, and OG's like, "Give me my glasses first." To the guy, he's like, "Give me the glasses." He's like, "I'll put my glasses." And Grady's like, "You don't need to put your glasses on to do this. It's just an interview." And so he does it with him, and OG just kind of says, "Ever, ever." Yeah, and we're like, okay, is that the whole lyric? But it's fine. It's OG. And then he turns to Chris, and he's like, "Chris," he's like, and Chris says, "Don't be messing with me." He kind of pushes him away. I don't like the energy between Chris and Grady right now, because also in the practice, open practice, we see Chris boxing him out for a rebound, and he absolutely throws him to the ground. And Grady goes, "Whoa, whoa, you catch that part? Seriously." I don't know. I don't know. Chris, I know that in some ways Grady's a threat to your minutes and your place in the rotation, but you need to be a good vet and not be so overtly kind of like having problems, because it seems like you don't like Grady. Let's just put it that way. And if I can perceive it from media that y'all are putting out, then I can probably guess it's not good on low. So no, 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 no. We ain't doing any of this stuff this year, Chris. You got to be a loving and supportive vet, and you need to play your ass off so you protect your minutes and don't be threatened by a kid like him coming in. You've got to be a better vet, Chris, and get your head out of your ass, and don't be bullying them or freeze them out. This is not what we're doing this year. That may have went with Nick Nurse's culture, but it doesn't go with this culture under Darko. So yeah, figure it out, Chris, real quick, please. Teresa is amazing, and the more I think about things about her that are absolutely incredible and amazing, I'll tell you guys, because I went through a whole bunch of stuff about her and learning about her. And, I can't remember everything in my big spiel at the beginning. So there may be some things that occur to me as things go on. Like I said, she was a big part of adding a women's camp to the Basketball Without Borders stuff in Africa. So in some ways, she was very instrumental in helping the women of Africa get the same opportunities as the men at those camps. So there's a lot of different things she's doing on the down low, and even within the organization with the positions and stuff, with hiring people, she's trying to find that diversity and find that right balance between gender and who's working at that in the organization. And they're doing a fantastic job, honestly. They really, really are. Monique is saying, "We love you, Teresa. Thinking of you, Precious." Yeah, we're thinking of you, Precious. And I'm sure Precious is fine. Precious is so happy-go-lucky. Precious just has the right attitudes in life. Precious is a renaissance man, and he's a sommelier, professional sommelier now. He is actually working for Inventory now as a professional wine sommelier. Is it sommelier or sommelier? I don't know. Whatever. It's a French word, and it means like you are into wine. Is basically what it means. But that's what he's into these days, is the wine. He's all about the wine. And Mo definitely loves you, Teresa. I hope that you've met Teresa. I'm sure you have, Mo. Probably. I'm gonna guess you probably have, being community champion and stuff like that. I'm sure she had a hand in your whole press conference that happened a few years ago, and organizing all that with Randy Urban and all those guys that were there at Kiel. That was such a fantastic moment for you. And that's what I'm saying. That kind of stuff, the driving force is Miss Resch. I'm telling you right now. That's right. Sue's saying it has been very exciting watching all the training camp clips. So looking forward to the season. Good vibes. I'm excited about basketball for sure. And I'm excited about team play. I'm excited about the promise. I'm excited about the opportunities that our guys can grow and develop and get better and overall as a team. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm very, very intrigued by the things that Darko's going to do. Listen, the thing is, this guy's fresh. Like I said, I made this analogy earlier this summer. The Coke can has got fizz, right? Well, you pop that Coke can, well, you leave it on the counter for a while, it goes flat. It goes like no more fizz, no more pop in that can. Well, that was Nick Nurse. We popped that can up in 2018, 5 years ago, and the fizz was strong in that first rookie year for him as a coach, and we won a championship. Ooh, that fizz was strong. Well, that fizz, that effervescence, the bubbly, it kind of goes away. It gets flat. And that's what I really think happened with Coach Nick and kind of his strategies and what he's doing. Now, we'll see how it translates to the roster he's dealing with now in Philadelphia. But yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting year. I love Darko's fizz. He's coming in effervescent, a jubilant kind of energy. a love and a passion and connectiveness kind of energy. And his pop just recently cracked open. In fact, it may be cracked open tomorrow. Is what officially is when it really is cracked open. And I'm telling you, that fizz is going to be really, really potent because it's something nobody ever seen yet. Nobody's seen. It's just like when Nick came in, there was some things people hadn't seen. He was an innovator. He was a new one. That's part of the calling card of when we hire coaches. We want innovators. We want people to push the game further, who have vision and are on top of the game currently, and they want to understand the next step of the game and the evolution and be a part of causing it, and being the team and the coach that has the theories, then puts them into practice on the court. Well, Darko's got new theories and new ideas and new schemes and a new kind of coaching mind that has not been debuted yet. And that is part of what is so exciting about the beginning of the season, is learning this coach and what makes him tick and what he cares about and what his teams look like when they play. And I'm excited about it. I am so excited about it. That fizz is fizzing. I can hear it. I'm going to be crack. Woo! Effervescent. Woo! It's refreshing. So refreshing and new is what I'm talking about. That's right. There you go. There you go. There you go. Cool Cat is in the house. Scotty Barnes, Twitch family 2022. Cool Cat is here. Pascal Siakam lover number 1. We love you, Cool Cat. So happy to see you today. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. WNBA fell through via Ed Rogers, causing havoc. Yeah, there's very much more news that came out after my stream yesterday. Basically, they're saying that the feud between Rogers and Masai was a part of the thing that happened here. In some ways, I could very well see Ed Rogers being a dick and trying to be an asshole and saying, you don't get this, Masai. And that's the whole reason why this happened this way. It is sad, but the Raptors are also counterbalancing this, and this may be Teresa Resch herself again, by committing to supporting women's sports around Toronto in other ways. By doing charity and getting more events and outreach for young women to get involved in basketball. This is what they're going to do, is slap a little Band-Aid over, this huge egregious mistake that they made in the last 2 days. It is what it is. This is bigger than money, Ed Rogers. This is about life. This is about opportunity. And this is about equalizing sports. And the fact that you can't get into this, as people have said, the MLSE, the M stands for man. Yeah, I get that. This old school boys club, the Leaf Nation and like Leaf things and stuff. And then it carries over to corporatism and all this stuff. And then him being in charge instead of his sister, it's all reeks of patriarchy bullshit. And it's fine. It's fine. We can't do anything about it right now. And as I said, in some ways, Masai and Teresa and the rest of the Raptors need to pick their battles right now. In some ways, there's things on the horizon where they may need to have more ammunition. And at this point, getting an WNBA team and put them with us, there's more area for us to fail, partly because in some ways that, there could be some sort of like prying in certain ways by the MLSE board, Ed Rogers himself. We don't need to give them fodder or fuel, is basically what I'm saying. So in some ways, we need to be a tight ship. We need to kick ass. We need to be very successful so we can be bulletproof, and Ed Rogers can go suck it, is basically what I'm saying. So, yeah, we're going to do whatever we can to encourage women to play basketball in Canada. It just may not be in Toronto with a WNBA team. And I think the ideas we had yesterday with putting a WNBA team in another Canadian city is really smart. So hopefully maybe the WNBA can look at Vancouver and make it really realistic and make it happen. Yeah, it's too bad that this happened. It's too bad that this happened. And there is more and more news trickling out that Ed Rogers is a huge reason why we got ixnayed on the WNBA here. Yeah, those were my fears when Tannenbaum started to loosen his stake. Raptors will be under bad Rogers' thumb. Masai and our best players will leave. Enjoy the best days of the Raptors. See, I don't want to be doomsday like this, Cool Cat. In some ways, I don't want to drive this car down into the ditch. This is the same thing I'm talking about with this. We can apply it to just this season. We can apply it to our lifetime in the franchise. In some ways, I want to believe that our plane can be pulled up by a pilot saying, you know what I'm talking about? Just like in the movies. So let's not predestine this yet. In some ways, somebody had a good point yesterday. A lot of it will matter who our next chairman becomes. A lot of it will matter. When Larry leaves, at some point, it will matter who's in charge and becomes the next chairman of the board. That may be important. Now, if it's Ed Rogers, yeah, we may be in a little bit of trouble. But hopefully, maybe it can be somebody from the belt side of things instead, or maybe it can be somebody that's in between, kind of like Larry still. I don't know. It does look ominous and grim, and I was really down because of the things you're talking about right now. But also, nothing's done or happened yet, and we can still write our future. And in some ways, I believe in Masai and Teresa to be able to kick some ass and avoid a lot of bullshit through success. So let's see how it goes, and let's not say that we're doomed already. We can't do this, Cool Cat. We cannot let ourselves have a doomed future, no matter what. So please do not do this. Please do not do this. I don't want to do this about the season coming up with how we're going to play. And in some ways, it's the same action, the doomsday. The doomsday. In some ways, I know you may be right. I'm not saying you're not realistic. But also at the same time, let's try and steer it away from that. Let's try and steer the car on the icy roads to continue to go down the road and not into the ditch because of the events that you're kind of describing. I say maybe it is inevitable and we can't do anything about it. Maybe you're right. Our golden age of the Raptors may be coming closer to an end in the years to come. But I don't want to push that and make it more real by talking it out more. I'd much rather talk about another championship, us winning, us being successful, and that just pissing the fuck out of Ed Rogers so much that he's upset and he can't do a damn thing about it because we're untouchable. So there are a couple ways this could work out, and we can control our destiny a little bit more if we kick some ass. Basically, is what I'm saying. Kareem saying, "Rest in peace to all the turkeys across Canada." And to those turkeys who were involved in that car crash on the 401, my thoughts and prayers goes out to all your families. I'll be pouring gravy on the floor. You know what? This is ridiculously well-shaped comment. In some ways, this is like a double dunk because there's a lot to this. This is amazing. He's alluding to the accident that happened. This week we've had a couple of spills in Canada, in Toronto, on the 401. Earlier this week, it was celery stalks. That's so weird. You hear about these trucks overturning on the highway, and sometimes it's like a Pepto-Bismol. It's all a bunch of Pepto-Bismol on the middle of the highway right now. We got to clean it up. Well, this week it was celery stalks of all the weird things that a truck could overturn and just flood the whole road with. Celery. But also there was an accident with some turkeys too. Yeah, you're pouring out gravy. That was the thing that got you this for sure. Is that you're talking about pouring gravy out on the ground for those who have passed. That's hilarious, Kareem Thomas. And this is why you are a master of getting dunks, because the ingenuity and creativity in this comment right here. Oh my gosh, that's right. You're getting a double dunk for just amazing brilliance right there. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Our thoughts to all the turkeys. And may you be able to afford a turkey dinner at the grocery store this weekend. I wish that for everybody. I wish that Justin Trudeau and them would get this figured out and make sure that everybody can still enjoy having a turkey dinner this weekend. Those greedy ass motherfuckers, Galen Weston and the Loblaws. Yeah, lower your damn prices, at least for this weekend, you motherfuckers, and let everybody have a Thanksgiving, please. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yep. All right. Let's see. Monique is saying, when Teresa was on Raptors Tonight, that was the best thing before the Giants of Africa night. Great conversations. She's really well spoken, and she has a quiet intensity. She's very astute, and she's reading people all the time, and she's just on top of things. In some ways, I think she's not a normal person. There's something about her that makes me think that I don't like accusing. It's not accusing, because in some ways I feel like I have this stuff too. But when you get so obsessed and you get so into certain things, I get it, because I'm like that. In some ways, you may be a little bit on the spectrum, is what I'm saying. And it's not a bad thing. There's very high functioning, amazing, smart, really gifted, crazy good people at things that are like that. Like I feel like I'm on the spectrum partly in the same kind of way. So that's what I'm saying. It's not meant as an insult. I know they use this with Scotty, and it's such bullshit. But in some ways, the way she carries herself and the way she's so matter of fact, and she really is like somebody who cares. She said that if you treat people well and you work hard, you'll get far in your life. And that's really a big part of what she did. She did jobs for no money and internships in her graduate school. and she got treated poorly by people, even though she was not getting paid. She turned the other cheek. Instead of shooting herself in the foot and kind of matching the energy that she got and like coming at it in a negative way back, she didn't do that. And that's part of the reason why she's successful, because she didn't shoot herself in the foot by sewering herself with maybe some of the people that were ugly to her in the past. And what a great height she is. And in fact, in some ways, she is, like I said, a trailblazer for women in sports management. There's not many women that have gotten to the level of being in charge as she has in sports anywhere, any of the sports. So in some ways, she's a big role model to young women who have dreams of being an executive in sports. She really, really is. We have so much love for her. That's right. So much love for her. Let's see what else y'all are saying. Isaac's got Scotty and Masai and Teresa and me and the Raptor and Mo on blast. Thank you, Isaac Campbell, the benevolent one, holding it down in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. We love you, Isaac. We hope you have a great weekend with your family and happy Thanksgiving. Yeah. Yeah, Nameless is saying Canada is out of control with our legislations on every single level. It's such a scam in Canada. I don't even know what you're talking about in particular. I know Google's starting to get upset with us in the same kind of ways that Facebook has been upset with us about Canadian content and news. In some ways, I listen. It's not that I blindly trust the government, but in some ways, right now, I'm actually kind of really happy about the Canadian government, because they're making things happen, like the green belt getting reversed. Now we're trying to work on reversing the Therme project that Doug Ford did a handshake deal on, but without consulting anybody about. Yeah, I'm seeing action happen in some ways here in Canada that I never saw in the States, with all the gridlock, the gerrymandering, and the so like we don't give an inch between the left and the right of the politics down there. Here, I'm seeing results. If things happen, like a bullshit, crazy speaker who comes to the assembly, yeah, somebody has to step down. If some sort of scandal happens, John Tory, you're gone, Bo. Nope. And they're coming out with more of the details of John Tory's scandal, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like one of those romance books with Fabio on the cover. Yeah, what was going on with John Tory and his little office romance. That's the thing. The accountability up here is showing way better in some ways than in the States to me. I know they're coming after Trump right now, and they're going to nail him. He's going to jail. He's going to jail. But up here, I was like, how do they do it? Well, the public opinion gets heard. Like if we're saying things in social media, they're listening. They are listening, and they're like, holy crap, this is not popular. This greenbelt thing is happening, and we made a difference. We made a difference. So I don't know. I'm not down on Canada right now, because in some ways I'm proud of this country and how we're maneuvering things. It's a Wild West we live in right now. It's exactly like the Wild West of people coming to this continent and just going across it. And there's lawlessness and weirdness, except the lawlessness and weirdness is on the internet. And in some ways, there's a whole lot of things we're going to have to work out real soon with AI coming up and different things. Like somebody said on Twitter the other day, it's like this election season is going to be wrought with misinformation, all kinds of crazy ass bullshit that can be coming from AI generated stuff or all kinds of different things. So strap yourself in. It's more important now than ever to be a critical thinker and really try and suss out what is real and what is not, because there is not going to be an easy way of having just everything being real anymore. Our society's become more and more fake and made up bullshit. And you're going to have to take everything with a grain of salt. You're going to have to say, is this real or not? Like some of these pictures are going to be very well faked. They're just going to get harder and harder to decide whether it is or not. So really understand it now, early. Oh my gosh. Nameless, always so happy to see you. Evelyn saying Teresa Resch also received a championship ring. Well deserved. Much love for you. Of course she did. If anybody deserved a championship ring like Kawhi and Kyle, Teresa did. I'm gonna tell you right now, anybody in that organization would tell you that. Like if anybody, Masai, yeah, he gets one. Bobby gets one. Of course, Teresa's gonna get one too. Of course. She was a huge, huge part of why we won the championship. And that excellence and that drive and that feeling around our team, it generates from her. It really, really does. I'm telling y'all, much love for you. We love you, Teresa Resch, and we love you, Granny Evelyn. That's right. Country Kong's here. Good to see Country Kong, another member of Scotty Barnes' Twitch family. That's right, Teresa. All of us that are here in this chat are the people that were with Scotty last year on the video game, hanging out with him, getting to know him, because we love him. We want to know more about him. We're huge Raptor fans. We're not just fans, though. We're not just fanatics, though. We're freaks about how much we love the Raptors and how positive and supportive we want to be towards the team in all kinds of ways. The toxic noise around the Raptors fan nation has got to stop, and we're part of the remedy. We're sick of this shit. Let's keep our heads on straight and stay positive and stay going towards the goals and the good things for the Raptors. And that's what our driving force is here in what we do. If you do find me today, Teresa, just by, it was like, wait, well, somebody did some content on Teresa Resch on the YouTube today? I'm like, yeah, the Raptors Freak did, because we wanted to share the love for you, our champion vice president of operations. Yes, we did. That's right. That's right. Country Kong is saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lex, I love the subject of today's Share the Love Club. Hiring Teresa back in the day was genius by Masai. I have 3 sisters, and Teresa is a pioneer as a female executive. So that's what I'm saying. Country Kong has 3 sisters that aspire to try and go down a path, possibly just like Teresa Resch. You know, she's a beacon in the sports world that I'm going to tell you right now, the sports world has not been kind to females in all kinds of different ways. Misogyny runs rampant in the pro athlete's mind. In some ways, that's just part of the chemistry of like, I have to be the best. I'm a man. I'm a male. Blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of that still going on around the league. Some people have said recently that there's no way there could be a female NBA head coach because the players wouldn't respect her or listen to her. So that somebody anonymously said that. That's crazy talk, and that's messed up. You go tell Becky Hammond that if she showed up to coach a team. Yeah, you were going to see people fall in line real quick. So yeah, but there is misogynist beliefs still around sports that are like this. And that's why Teresa Resch is so important, because she shows success that you know, women can do this and can be very, very much at the top of their field and be one of the best at what they do. That's right. I appreciate that, Country Kong. And she is a great role model for people like your sisters. She's a fantastic role model in that kind of way. The thing is crazy is nobody talks about her hardly at all. She really doesn't want to be in the spotlight. I can tell. She's a very private person, and there isn't a lot of information about her personal life at all online. I have no idea. I don't think she's married. I don't know. In some ways, that doesn't matter if she's married or not. You know, I have no idea what her age is. In some ways, that's you know, one of those things you're not supposed to know about women, right? And so, you know, she's mysterious to a degree. She is mysterious to a degree. In some ways, I feel like we should put her on blast more. In some ways, it may be the kind of thing, well, when she's, you know, near the end of her career, they really need to honor her and put her on blast. And like I said, there should be a movie about her or something like that. That kind of stuff, it can be very powerful and really, really influence young generations coming up. So I'm all about that. G saying, looks like Scotty will be a point forward, and he looks so great. Gary has a new vibe, and Pascal looks happy. Dennis is a game changer. Yak, the playmaker, looking good. G's just looking the analyst, looking over the whole thing. We saw Malachi Flynn dunk. He dunked in the open practice yesterday. I was like, holy crap, Malachi got a breakaway dunk. That was awesome. We saw Garrett Temple. Looks very quick. You know, the first eyes on Garrett Temple and his movement on the court in that game, he's shorter than I remember him, but he was moving very good for his age and where he's at in his career. So I like seeing that. And yeah, Dennis looked like he fit in fine, and he looks like he's playing like he would for Team Germany on our team, and I love that. You know, we saw a little bit of good stuff from a lot of different people. Chris was in there mixing it up, battling. We saw Grady and Gary hitting outside shots. We saw Scotty hitting outside shots. We saw Jakob doing some sound stuff in the lane. Yeah, just a lot of good stuff. We saw Siakam all over the place doing a lot of different things, and that's good. This is all going to be really, really good, and I'm excited for tomorrow. This is going to be a big test. We're going up against Mike Brown and the Sacramento Kings, and they're very well coached, and they're up and coming, rising Western Conference team. So they're no slouch, and it'll be very interesting to see the first active, like against an opponent that's going to be trying real hard instead of a practice like last night. Let's see where if we can find success right away. in some of the stuff we're doing right away. Yeah, I love all your observations, G. And I feel like Gary seems very happy. The guys all seem very, very happy. We saw some maker in that clip. We saw Javon Freeman Liberty get a dunk and then get blocked like crazy by Scott also. crazy block. But yeah, it was a good open practice from what I could see. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. Can't wait till tomorrow. Canadian Dana is really, really ready to get the taste of the Blue Jays season out of here and get to the next part, the best stuff, the Raptors starting their season. It's sad and disappointing what happened with the Blue Jays, but now we got Raptors to look forward to tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time. The game will be on. Y'all watch it. I know you will. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Stargate. And G saying, Teresa on Raptors tonight was great. Got to see her speak and be herself. Highly intelligent, passionate, and relatable. Yeah, she's a real one. She is a real one. That's the thing. In some ways, people like Masai, myself, and Teresa, once we get dedicated to something, we're real ones. Then that's it. In some ways, it'd be hard for us to go work or be in part of other teams because we just have such a connection and attachment to the Raptors and the saga of the last 10 years. You know, all the ups and downs of helping Masai run this team. Teresa probably really is like a diehard Raptor person, like in her life. So she's probably all like she eats, lives, and breathes to make the Raptors better. And you know what? People that have that kind of mentality or that kind of way for the Raptors are my favorite people. Is basically what it is. They are my favorite people. People like you guys. That she's a Raptor freak on the inside, working for the team and doing the things that make the Raptors who they are. Like seriously, if anybody's a Raptor freak in the team, she is, and so is Masai, because they're both that dedicated. They really, really are. You can tell. Fiercey's laughing at Kareem. Yeah, that was a good dunk. That was a really good dunk. Most saying, at Dana, you are all of us right now. Let's go. Yeah, she's biting at the chop. She's ready. She's ready to go. And one more sleep, Monique, and then you got Raptors basketball. That's right, baby. Let's go. Cool Cat saying, love to see the snippets of Coach Darko's plays. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this. I really, really am. Darko's excited about this. If things were kind of not, these guys are really eager to get new stuff. You could tell it was stale with Nick. And the enthusiasm that's coming out in Gary, Chris, Pascal, it really shows that there's a difference. And in some ways, these guys were not happy with Nick Nurse being the coach, obviously. I really do think we got rid of the two biggest problem people. And I hate to say that Coach David Thorpe was right last December with his bullshit, trying to say if I was Masai, I'd fire Nick right away and I'd get rid of Fred and OG because of the issues on the team. I was like, shut up, dude. You're not helping anything. But you know what? We got rid of Fred and we got rid of Nick. And that may have really cleared up a lot of the main problems with our chemistry on our team last year. I really, really hope so. These guys really feel like they're breathing new fresh air right now with Darko here. So it's very, very interesting. Fiercely saying, Dennis has a story and hashtag team chemistry. They believe in Darko's method and they're bought in. It feels good to see this as a fan. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I mean, I really feel like we've got the right mix of a team right now. Some people will look at our team and be like, well, you lack this, or what are you doing with your roster build, Bobby? And I'm like, fuck that. There's a really good kind of pieces together at this point on our team. With Yaka being here and Dennis being here, that makes us a more like complete team than last year. Seriously, at the beginning of last year, we didn't have a center and we didn't really have a true point guard. Now we finally have a true point guard and a true center. And that's something we've lacked pretty much since Mark and Serge left, pretty much. And now we've got those things. And that means we can be a more complete team as far as like the looks we put on the court and, dealing with big bully centers. We've got a big bully center that can match them. Dealing with a speedy little guard like Tyrese Maxey will be a lot easier with Dennis Schröder. Trust me. He's not going to burn Dennis like he burned Fred. Trust me. He will not. Dennis will not get burned like him. No, he won't. Nameless is saying, let's fucking go, Raptors. Let's go. That's right, Nameless. That's right. And that's a weird emote. It's like, what is that? The sweaty emote? Is that person sweaty and angry and also thirsty at the same time? Like, I don't get that emote. Like, there's too much going on there. It's like the angry orange color and it's got like 2 drips. One drip is on the forehead, and then one's coming out of the eye. Are you like sweaty, crying, angry with your tongue out? Is that what this emote is? Nameless? Maybe I'm over analyzing an emote right now, but I don't remember that emote. I think that's sweaty, angry, crying. I think that's the sweaty, angry, crying emote. I didn't even know we had that one. Wow, that's awesome. Wayne Strainer's here. Good to see Raptor Freak Wayne Strainer holding it down for us. Yes, Wayne Strainer saying looking forward. Yeah, we're looking forward to good things. That's right. Fiercey's got Masai and Teresa on blast right there. Look at that. That's awesome. Fun guy saying, hey Lex, I saw a 3-minute video of the practice. Was there a stream of the whole thing or something? Because if so, I missed out. No, unfortunately, there wasn't. And unfortunately, we didn't have any of the Raptor Freaks in the house like we did last year to give us an on-hand account being there in person. That would have been Tommy Duke last year that did that for us. And Joseph Starks also was there last year. But no, fun guy, there was no complete way to view it. You can only get those little snippets, just like the rest of us. I'm sorry, man. So don't worry. You're not missing out on anything. Monique is saying, next week, I got to book my ride for the home opener. I can't wait. She's going to go and see the Toronto Raptors open up their 2023-2024 season against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah, you go to that game, Mo, and I'll be at Philly. Yeah, I'm going to be there on October the 28th when Nick Nurse returns to Scotiabank Arena with the enemy. Being a turncoat, Nick Nurse. That's right. Delaware Blue Coats, Delaware Turncoats. That's what I'm saying right now. That's right. Delaware Turncoats. Yeah, don't you even try and get Jeffrey. No. Teresa and Bobby and Masai, please sign Jeffrey just so that Nick can't get him. Please sign Jeffrey just so you can't get him over there on the Blue Coats, Turncoats. Yeah. G saying, fun guy, check on Yahoo YouTube. Was starting to watch it before the stream started, but I think a lot of the practice is there. Oh, shit. So it is out there. Gee, thanks for the intel. This is why I love this channel. This is why I love you guys, because you guys are finding stuff that we don't find. Monique will find it. I'll find it. G will find it. Somebody's going to find it. If it's Raptors related, the Raptor Freaks will suss it out and find it for each other. Thank you, G. And listen, if you find a link, could you put it in the comments after the stream? Because I want to go watch it too, obviously. Isaac saying, attacking the paint to collapse the defense only to kick it to a teammate is the absolute best part of unselfish winning basketball. It's a mindset as much of a skill. You know what? He's only spitting pure facts. It's not like these lyrics are untrue or weird. This is just basic basketball fundamental stuff. And Isaac is going to get a dunk for spouting it because I believe this is true. I believe this is very, very true. And there's Scott Wayne Barnes at the end of his comment there too. Yeah, I love this. I mean, we've seen the kickouts to people like Gary, Malachi, Scotty, and they're bombing the threes and making them. Jalen McDaniels even out there looking pretty good. And the little bit that I saw of him out there, you know, we saw Maker, a little bit of Mogi. But I want to see more of this. We saw one Marquise Noel 3 in that 3-minute clip there. A little bit of OG, one little basket by OG, but I'd like to watch the whole thing. Yes, I would. That crowd seemed like it was very intense and having fun. That was awesome. Yeah. All right, let's see what else is saying. Jumped ahead for a second. Let me make sure I get the right spot. All right, I'm on Tommy Dookie. He's saying the practice game I went to was more of a production and a big event. It was Orange Shirt Day. Nick Nurse spoke. Seems it's more about basketball this year. Tom Duke taking shots at Nick Nurse, saying it's like it was more of a production, big event kind of thing. And it was like more other things were important than just the practice. Okay, there you go. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I remember Tom was helping telling us all about what happened there. It was awesome. And Darko saying all eyes are on what Darko wants and requires. That's right. Darko Rajakovic, the new head coach of the Toronto Raptors, all about it. Stargate saying flew over on the company G6. That's right. Dennis living that life like Drake. He's like, this is how Drake lives? He's like, I could get used to this. In some ways, he was lonely on there. You could tell. He like gave us the plane tour. He's like, this is the toilet. He like opened the toilet and said, this is the toilet, y'all. It's like, they really give you in-depth content on the Schröder's YouTube channels. They really, really do. Like he's showing you that whole toilet and everything. He's like, the only person on the plane with me is the stewardess. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's like, man, this man's so, he probably had peace and quiet. He's away from his family. He's away from his kids. He's away from basketball responsibilities. He could just be on there. One of the things he said I really liked about the jet is it had internet. He could just be on the computer or like his thing, doing whatever, posting his content or just messaging or staying in contact with people. And they were probably telling him, like, Dennis, when you land, we're going to take you straight to the Scotiabank Arena. You're going to take a picture in your jersey. You're going to wave, and then you're going to go right back out to the airport. And we're going to put you on a plane with the rest of the guys going to Vancouver. Because he got there and made it the plane with the team. So he did actually get to fly out there with the team on the jet with them, which is great team building stuff. And in some ways, sending them the company jet is a big deal to make that all line up and allow Dennis a smooth entry into training camp without being too crazy jet lag. I mean, I got to wonder about Dennis's circadian rhythm right now with all the time changes, with jumping around Dubai and Southeast Asia and Germany, and now, going to Toronto, going to Vancouver. This guy's body clock has got to be all crazy right now. This dude just wants to stay in one place for a little while. But he's probably used to it. That's the NBA life. You're on the road. You're jumping from the West Coast to the East Coast all the time. And, it's amazing that he can thrive in that kind of chaos. Because most people's bodies do not naturally take to that kind of travel and moving from time zone to time zone. He's got to have some weird, period where he's awake and the rest of the team's not. Like, he's probably up in the middle of the night at the hotel. Everybody else is asleep. He's like, I can't shake German time right now. You got to figure that could be an issue for him. But as more time he's with the team, he'll be acclimated. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Yeah. Trevor J saying, how many players in the NBA can say that their front office will do something like that for them? I'll wait. We'll do something like that for them. I'll wait. Trevor J's like, who? I don't know. Mark Cuban might do something like that. Steve Ballmer might do something like that. Matt Achiuwa probably would do something like that. But still, it did touch him. And honestly, it's a huge way to show that you're important to us. This is how important you are. We're going to make you get to fly in a jet, not just a small flight. This is like an 8-hour flight by himself. That is showing priority and emphasis on we value you. We value you. The message is very, very clear right there. And that, a guy like Dennis, he gets that kind of feeling behind him and that kind of support. He will do stuff for us. He will very much buy into it. And you could tell he was impressed. He was very, very impressed with it. Yeah. Wayne saying, I really think our championship was due to Dwayne Casey and not Nick Nurse. Over his tenure, we got progressively worse. We're so blessed as fans. Well, it may have been really the smart GMing of Bobby and Masai and Teresa to recognize that, Dwayne was hitting his head in the playoffs. We knew that in some ways, he just doesn't have the reactive coaching strategy to adjust and how quickly you have to at the highest levels of basketball in the playoffs. And that was a strength with Nick. And we actually recognize that. Now, that may be, like we've speculated in the last few months since Nick's departure, his firing, it may be that that's the difference. Nick's at a high level. He can coach high-level vets that are already kind of know things, but he's not good with young players that are developing. He came in, he had Kawhi, Danny Green, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, and those guys are easy to coach. In some ways, we said, Kyle Lowry was a coach of that team on the court. And, in some ways, Nick, he can be adjusting and kind of calling the plays and stuff and really do his bread and butter. But those other guys are taking care of a lot of stuff as vets that help you get there. And then, like what you're saying, Wayne, is Dwayne built that program up and built it to where it got to. And in some ways, he really was the person who took the Raptors from nowhere to somewhere. And Nick just put the added last little touch on the end of it. I mean, that's totally fair to say. And I look at it that way too. I wouldn't say that we got progressively worse. I think the second year he did really well with Kawhi leaving and us on our record. And we were we were the best team in the NBA when the pandemic happened. So I can't say that it was all downhill after the championship, because he was actually at a very high level his second year coaching us too. But then the pandemic happened. Then Tampa was really tough to deal with. But since Tampa, it's in some ways it was getting worse. G saying Flynn looked bigger and much more confident too. Yeah, I'm excited. What? This guy's Desmond Bain up north all of a sudden because of this? When we Nick Nursery, damn you. You should have never built a crib here for young Malachi. That's right. Eric Flynn was right. If we start saying stuff like that this season, you'll know. You'll know. Fiercely saying, hoping people realize that Masai, Bobby, and Teresa are checking boxes on everything that was wrong or needed. New coaching mentality, better offense, three-point shooting, moving the ball, a legit center, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fiercely is exactly right. People need to realize that if there's dysfunction coming from our front office or from the anywhere in the team, it's from ownership. Realize this, Raptor fans. Do not point the finger to Masai. He has a boss that hates him, and he has to work and try and do his best job under that boss. Racist ass Trump loving boss. Yeah, that's right. So who are you going to pick? Seriously, if you have any problem with Masai, you're falling in line with Montgomery Burns, asshole Ed Rogers. And I still think that he has people he's paying on Twitter and in other social media places to sully Masai's name on purpose, to try and make it seem like he's a scapegoat. And no, he's not. He's the driving force to our success, and he's a big reason why the Raptors are on the map like they are today. So, anybody who's fallen for any kind of anti-Masai crap, realize you are a pawn for an evil, evil man named Ed Rogers. And on top of that, you're probably paying him a cable bill, and you probably hate him on that end. Well, why don't you hate him for this reason too? Because he could very well be what Cool Cat was saying. Demise for the competitiveness for the Raptors in the years to come. So you cannot like Ed Rogers at this point. He's very unpopular right now. Very, very unpopular. And we'll continue this. We will continue to make him very unpopular. And if he does stuff that fucks with us or makes us unhappy or unpopular, well, we will make our voices heard. And, hopefully they matter. Hopefully they do matter. Just like with the Greenbelt scandal. People rise up and make the public consensus a certain way. Well, we'll rise up against Ed Rogers at some point if we have to, fans. And it may be in a way of boycotting the team while he's on ownership of the team. That's right. We will fucking strangle y'all economically, collectively as fans, if you fuck around with our team, Ed Rogers. Seriously. We will go to great lengths to protect our team in ways to help them be better and get to success. And if it means purging the team of you, we will work on doing that. Trust me. And you can think I'm not a threat. You can think that I'm not somebody you should worry about, but you should. You should. Trust me. You should. Because I'll put that shit out there on blast for Raptors Nation to know the damn truth about who's fucking with our team. And it's not Masai, y'all. It's Ed Rogers. It is very clearly Ed Rogers. That's right. And they are marking off that checklist fiercely. You're right. Credit to our front office, the great Masai, the amazing Teresa, and the intelligent and brilliant Bobby. That's right. That's right. Brilliant Bobby, terrific Teresa, and magnificent Masai. That's right. And evil Ed. That's what you got. That's right. Monique is saying, fun fact, Teresa is best friends with my medical doctor at Baycrest Hospital. So every time I see my doctor, we always bring up Teresa. That's awesome, Monique. The bonds and the connections. I'm telling you, Miss Lawrence is connected, y'all. That's right. Well, that's very, very cool. That's very, very cool. I wonder if Teresa had friends. She works so hard all the time. Like, seriously. In some ways, her job is 24/7, and she doesn't let up. That's how dedicated and how involved and how much she really, really wants us to be successful. So that's awesome. I'm glad to hear she has friends because I worry. Because it seems like she really does put her life into her job very, very heavily, very heavily. Fiercely saying, if Thad keeps an open mind, it may add more years to his career. Feedback is powerful. Yeah. I'm just joking when I said that because, it's Darko's philosophy. I'm sure Thad would take direction and can develop further. It wouldn't be a problem with him. He's not like that. He's not like kind of standoffish or negative. That's part of the reason why he's been in the league for so long. But in some ways, that's the whole idea of like, well, he's going to develop Thad further. It was kind of just like a point that's the mindset of Darko, that you can develop at any age or you can develop at any point in your career. It doesn't matter if you're like 18 years in the league and been around forever. He's going to figure out a new wrinkle for you is what we're saying. That's right. Fiercely saying nice at Monique about the thing about Teresa and her doctor. That's awesome. Cool Cat saying Precious was a point guard all along too until he got drafted to the NBA. So it's good he will have opportunities to learn and grow and to rediscover those skills and get back to them. Yeah, we're not about limiting ourselves, whether it's the mindset that you can't develop an older player more, whether it's the mindset that Precious has got to be in a box and be specifically this kind of player. No, this dude can do it all. And Darko's the kind of coach that has the mindset that will allow it. And I love that. I love that so much. In some ways, Nick is like that too. But in some ways, he's lazier about letting them do what they want. I really think that's what it is. Like some of the Sixers players are saying, we love Nick. He's letting us do so much stuff. And they're really bashing Doc Rivers right now. It's kind of a similar thing to what's going on with us. Is there's a lot of bashing of Nick Nurse with us because of the changes between Darko and him and how much it looks like things are so much better. Well, the same kind of phenomena is happening around Sixers training camp with Sixers players and fans being like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad Doc is gone. And this is so much better this way and this way. They're going to find out about Nick. They're going to find out. Eventually, they'll find out, and it'll be too late. It'll be too late. Fun guy saying, Lex, Boucher finished the lyric, laughed my ass off. That was what Boucher said to Grady. Is that what he said? I thought that, okay, that's the actual lyric. I don't see. I'm so dumb. I guess I would fail Grady's Drake test because that's actually what they say. Okay. All right. I thought he was being standoffish and kind of telling me to fuck off. Thank you, fun guy, for clarifying that. And then it was funny when like Grady got pushed and he's like, hey, you watched that part in the practice clip. You watched that part. And Chris was like boxing out. I did a little dirty, but Grady needs to learn. Okay, well, fun guy, thank you for correcting me. Once again, I'm not perfect and I will fuck up on this channel. And if there is a blind spot or something that I'm not seeing or I don't understand, I appreciate y'all filling it in for me. I really do. Cool Cat saying, get well soon, Coloco. You know what? On that note, I'm going to go ahead and do the Raptors Instagram check right now because Coloco has something posted right now, and I want to talk about it. First, we got Gary Trent, and he's showing highlights from the practice of how they're finding him in the running around and setting up the screens and weaves and the cuts and the system. We see Chris moving with him, and he moves around him. He's coming around the screen on Chris, and he kind of beats Grady around the screen, and then he steps back, and then he's passing it down low, and a nice layup for his teammate. And then another one, so he's getting passed in the corner, and he kind of does a dribble over to avoid Scott, and he hits that three. Yeah, good stuff at Simon Fraser University last night. Yeah, there's Coloco on his Instagram right now. He's wearing the Toronto Raptors basketball sweatshirt. He's got his hair back, and he looks fresh. But man, I'm wondering why you're not able to play. Like, what's going on with this respiratory issue? But it's good to see confirmation that you are with the team at the open practice and being around the team. This is important for camaraderie, and hopefully you can get back on the court yourself. This is valuable time you're missing to get integrated in the new system with Darko. Grady has got a clip of him making the friendship bracelet on the shift with Kayla Gray. Good stuff there. I like seeing that. He's talking about Taylor Swift and that football guy that she's dating right now. That was hilarious. And then there's a picture of Grady getting off the bus to go into the open practice. That's when Tommy Duke saw those guys last year. And there's a nice shot of him making a shot on the court. Good stuff, Grady. You're doing awesome. There's Slim Duck with the milk mustache on his Instagram thing. And then he's got a picture. I think that's Jimmy Butler. He's playing dominoes. And he slams the domino on the table, and he's kind of yelling at his guys. He's very fiery domino player, and I guess Chris is like that too. And then it's like Chris is putting on blast the guy. This is like the president of Kenya held a press conference to declare he didn't have any side chicks. Funny stuff. But yeah, there's a nice picture of Chris at the open practice he's posting 9 hours ago, and then some of the plays of him going to the basket, Javon Freeman Liberty throwing it down, Slim Duck like that. And also with Jakob moving the ball around and then over to Dennis. And Dennis is passing it back to Jakob to Scotty with the big dunk underneath. That was a really nice play. Thad Young putting on blast the young boys. Once again, his sons with good stuff. Thaddeus and Taylor Young. Always good to see the young sons doing well and achieving in what they're doing. And Mr. New York City has got a picture of October's very own Arena. He's a huge Drake fan. And you could tell Marquise was really impressed with Drake's drop yesterday. And I did watch the new Drake video. It's interesting. But I like the look for the Arena last night with Drake's concert last night. And I heard everything was really good. He gave like $10,000 to some girl. And he like retired somebody's mom or something. So he had a really good concert there last night at the Scotiabank Arena. But Marquise is a huge Drake fan. You can tell. He's also posting every next level of your life will demand a different you. Never get satisfied. There's always new levels you can reach. I love that attitude by Marquise. And then he's saying happy birthday to his K-State coach. Words can't even describe how much you mean to me and every person that you encounter today. Enjoy today. You know, like I know you would. I love you, is what Marquise is saying to his Kansas State coach. Scotty Barnes is showing the entrance of them to the gym for the open practice, and he's like coming out like a wrestler, y'all. He's like hyping them up. You know, in some ways, Scotty deserves like a wrestler entrance. I know we do the Herbie introductions and them coming down the line, but in some ways, I really want to see these guys come out from the locker room like they're wrestlers, like Goldberg or something like that. And like everybody's like, yeah, and they got theme music because these dudes are built like wrestlers. Honestly, our team is very muscular this year. And in some ways, I'd like to see that. But he's got a couple of the different plays from that. And he's also showing his look coming off the bus, coming into open practice, wearing the toque and the white shirt. Yeah, and he's also putting on blast Javon Freeman Liberty. So we're seeing Chris and Scotty enjoying Javon's dunk in the open practice last night. I love seeing that. Ron Harper Jr. putting on blast a play from Marquise to him for a three. Very, very cool stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it for the Instagram check. I mean, everybody's kind of posting Drake stuff here and there too, and mostly practice stuff. So the Raptors official account was kind of all over the place. They're giving free jerseys out to people again. They gave a Scotty Barnes jersey to somebody at Kitts Beach in Vancouver. Also, let's see where else they were. Yeah, they're showing highlights of the practice, people coming in, Precious in them. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that the players were reposting is what there's the Malachi dunk. Yeah, that's a pretty good dunk. He got up there. I've never seen Malachi dunk until last night. That was pretty cool. Very, very cool to see Malachi dunk like that. But yeah, just more and more open practice content. Looks like it was a fun little crowd, very enthusiastic, passionate crowd for the size that it was. And Dubber Don is showing off his look. And now he's on the Celtics. He's got a nice jacket on. And some guy's celebrating. He was like, Celtics are my favorite team, bro. I'm glad you're on them. I'm like, shut up, man. Dennis has got all kinds of stuff. He's putting on blast his new YouTube drop, 4 flights in one day. Check it out. Definitely watch that. And there he is on the elevator. He's ready to lift weights. He's got a big smile on his face, and he's wearing Raptors gear. And that is what makes me happy right now. So, yeah, check out Dennis's stuff. And then you got a call from Ellen. And he's making crazy eyes. Like he made his eyes roll back in the back of his head. We know he loves his wife a lot. And I know this is weird for them to be apart for a week, but that is just the life of an NBA player and his family. All right, there's your Raptors Instagram check. Just checking in on what they're doing on the IG. Yeah, and that's what's going on right now. Koloko at the practice, looking well, but hopefully he'll be ready to play soon. Fun guy saying, I ain't nothing to play with is part of the lyric that Grady asked Boucher. It was pretty cool, actually. Love Boucher. Vibe was sick. How he walked off. Grady loved it too. Okay, so I am just an old head that it just went over my head. And I'm showing my age approaching 50 right now. I appreciate you, fun guy, for setting me straight on this. And I'm glad that's what Chris did. Okay, so there's no issue here. I was like, why did you say that to Grady? That's mean. That's the lyric, Lex. You just don't know. You're not cool. Thank you, fun guy, for clarifying. Fiercely saying, no more bubbly. The fizz died out. That's right. That's right. You crack that can of soda open, leave it on the counter for 4 years, and at some point it'll go flat. Yeah, you need fresh ideas. You can't just be trying to import an Australian coach and say, hey, let's do your flex thread offense and do something like that. No, you need fresh ideas, Nick. And you need to be more active and on top of things. In fact, in some ways, it sounds like, all right, Danny Green said this about training camp with the Sixers right now. And the difference between Nick Nurse's training camp this year and the training camp that he was with him in the Raptors that year. He's saying that things are a lot more intense and organized than the year that we did the training camp with the Raptors. So Nick may be getting off his ass and he is stressed out. And he realizes if he's not successful at the stop, he may be in trouble. So he may be busting his ass and actually trying to coach this year. You didn't try to coach last year, Nick. That's for damn sure. And Danny Green is saying, yeah, it's very weird energy around him in training camp with the Sixers compared to the energy around him when he was a rookie coach with the Raptors the year that they won the championship. That's right. There you go. There you go. A super fan saying Teresa also spoke at the She the North campaign many years ago. And yes, you met Teresa many years ago. Yeah, they're old buddies. I'm sure that you see Teresa at a game in this season, you say hey, and she'll say hey to you, and she'll probably come and visit with you and see how you're doing. I'm sure. Yeah, I remember that event, the She the North, and I actually watched some of the highlights of her speaking yesterday in different places about advancing women in sports, and really cool roundtable topics, and like her being on the panel. Another thing about Teresa is she is actually on the Canadian Olympic Committee, guys. She is on the committee of the Canadian Olympic Committee, and her specialty obviously is in basketball. But that is not a small honor. She is very much one of the people that helps decide things for our Canadian Olympic team, and that's just a part of the umbrella of her background in sports management with her degrees and her experience. That the Canadian Olympic Committee would like to have her involved as somebody who's on that board. So that says a lot right there that she's on the board of our Canadian Olympic Committee. That's a big deal, seriously. Stargate saying, Lex, you are misunderstanding Chris. Okay, y'all are all correcting me. I apologize, Chris, for saying that. It's just I was sensing something between you and Grady, but it's just me not knowing the lyric and being a dumbass. All right, it's my fault. I get a strike, y'all. I'm giving myself a strike today for being stupid. There you go. It's a Caribbean thing. It comes across as attitude, but it's not. I'm sure he has no issue with Grady whatsoever. What's the lyric is basically what it is. It's the lyric, as Fun Guys corrected me. I can't keep track of Drake's lyrics. I don't know who he's dissing every which way at what time and what. In some ways, like his video yesterday was weird. It's very oriented around Adonis, which I don't really like. In some ways, he's exploiting his 5-year-old son. And I get it. You're going to make him famous and stuff. But this is really dangerous, too, for his makeup and as he grows up. Drake, you want to be careful as a dad. In some ways, you don't want to put your kids on blast that young. And I was uncomfortable with that. Look, the technical skill of Drake and his lyrics and what he was doing with his flow was on par, like top level stuff. The way that he rhymed Czechoslovakia, I'm sorry, that's not everyday stuff in hip hop. That is very difficult to do. The way he did his rhyme scheme was amazing. Honestly, technically that song is amazing. 6 a.m. in Charlotte or whatever time, 8 a.m. in Charlotte or whatever. That is an amazing song technically with the lyric stanzas and his flow. The video to me, I really hated though. I really, really hated how much he put Adonis on blast. And I get it. You're trying to do something nice for your son. And even that whole part is like, you're going to tell him how much I paid you for that artwork. He's like, in some ways I really don't like it. And then you got, that's why I couldn't put it on my list this week. I'm like, technically it's really good. Like he is so good with the lyric writing and the way he flows into this and this and where he goes. But also at the same time, a lot of his new album is just hidden shots of people from his past and all kinds of weird shit interladen in there. There's a lot of hidden messaging. If you really know Drake, you understand who he's talking about. I do like the whole phenomena of him calling out that streamer kid, Kai, and him watching it in the live reacting. He's live reacting to Drake's album, and he's like, wait, did he just like drop something about me? He's like, ah, and he goes crazy, and he's running around in his weird room with all of his puppies and his Batman people behind him. And he's freaking out. Did he say that? And he's like, he's listening to it again. He's like, you did. And then they show later Drake in his mansion watching him react to his album, reacting to him reacting. It's such a meta, weird, crazy, interconnected world that a streamer like me on Twitch could be like that with that kind of praise from him. And apparently he was at the Drake concert last night too. Kai Cenat. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. But he was actually at the concert last night also. So really, really cool stuff there. Drake stuff is interesting. Now he's saying he's going to step away from music for a year, so don't expect anything. He said he has health issues, y'all. He's having stomach issues in the last year or so, and he needs to take care of his health, and he needs to he's got responsibilities with Adonis and things that he wants to do with his kid, I'm sure, that he wants to more focus on than writing music and doing the music stuff. I don't even know that means he's going to tour. Like in some ways, that's weird. Like if he's stepping away from music, does that mean he's not writing or touring? I don't know. Drake stuff is important to this channel because he is our global ambassador and he is a part of our organization. So yeah, very interesting stuff around the Drake album drop yesterday. A lot of mixed reviews on it. I'll say that, man, it's technically really good. Man, his rhyme flow and the way he wrote the rhymes, really, really good. I just didn't like the video. Tom saying, bonjour, mic drop. He's also saying, no problem here. Grady is just under the spotlight. That's right. Grady is the man. In some ways, he fits holding the little tiny microphone and just going around and talking to the players all the time. We may need more Grady-oriented hosting of things in the future. We really might. Trevor J saying the rest of the NBA adapts to Nick Nurse's style of play and made it their own and do better than him. He had no answer to come back, so he gave up. That's not actually incorrect. That is actually right. They started mimicking him and stealing his shit and doing it better than him. And then in some ways, adjusting further than that, he just hit a wall in some ways. He just couldn't do it. Yeah. Yeah. Stargate saying the other day it was B. The other day it was B. B. The other day it was B. I don't understand that. Sometimes I know you're reacting to something I said earlier, and I don't connect to what we were talking about. Fiercely saying, newly appointed Speaker of the House of Commons is Greg Fergus, a black man who happened to be the MP of where I live. There you go. That's right. And I'm really commending the province of Manitoba for electing their first ever Indigenous premier. That is fantastic stuff. You can see the dumpster fire that Alberta is with their leadership. In fact, they're sending all kinds of crazy ads to our city right now. A bunch of propaganda is coming from Alberta right now, y'all. Don't buy into this shit. They're talking about energy. They're talking about, like, if they do this with the energy things, you're going to not have power and all this shit. There's propaganda coming from Conservative Party in Alberta and their leadership there. Don't fall for it. It has nothing to do with us. We are Ontario. We got our own issues. These motherfuckers spending money in our province to put an ad campaign to try and influence Ontarians. No, worry about Alberta, you motherfuckers, and keep your fucking bullshit propaganda to yourself. All right? Now, if y'all know this and you see the ads, you'll understand exactly where it's coming from. It's coming from the gas and oil lobby of the Alberta province. Meanwhile, we got Manitoba. Electing an Indigenous premier who's already starting to say, we're going to go and dig some more and we're going to find out more of this stuff and more truth and reconciliation and good things. I commend and applaud the province of Manitoba for making this decision and putting this man in power. And I also commend and applaud the new House of Commons Speaker, Greg Fergus. These are great inroads. This is the first man of color to do that job. And this is progress, y'all. This is what we're talking about today, especially on the day we share the love for someone like Teresa Resch and what she stands for. That's right. That's right. Cool Cat is saying she's excited for the game on Sunday. Thanksgiving Day dinner will be interesting because I'm watching the game. Sorry, Mom and Dad, but the Raptors are on, and I'm going to have to put the game on. You know, you figure it out. You figure it out. You know, we all do what we got to do to get our Raptors in. That's right. We figure it out. We make it happen. We know Monique's mom has already realized. She's like, I know. Oh, wait, the season starts this Sunday, Monique? You got a game on Sunday night? Yeah, I do, Mom. Oh, well, somebody's going to have to give up the television. And we know that it ain't going to be Monique if it has to do with the Raptors. That could be like her rules. Like, listen, Mom, I don't care if you watch the TV all other times, but if the Raptors are playing, I need that TV. And she's like, I love you, Monique. You can have the TV whenever the Raptors are on. And I would be like that. I know that I've been that way in my family. You know, this past summer, trying to watch those Team Canada games early in the morning at the cottage with my family. And I'm like, Dad, I'm going to be getting up at 5 a.m. to watch this game with Lebanon. And he's like, what? It's like, yeah. That's just how we are. Let's see. Wayne Strainer saying, if Nav got a ring, Teresa and people who actually work definitely deserve a championship ring. Great content for Teresa, Lex. Listen, we're putting unsung heroes on blast here, whether it's Jim Sand earlier this summer, Savannah Hamilton. We will put on the people around the Raptors that deserve the Share the Love Club. And that it is an honor. You get that Share the Love Club. You look at the list of people we've done the Share the Love Club for in the past. Yeah, it's a lot of the players. Sure, it's broadcasters. Sure, it's people like Larry Tannenbaum and Tim Lewicki. Yeah, Teresa Resch is definitely one of them, and she's getting her day to day. That's right. That's right. Nav, Nav deserved a ring too. There's important things that Nav does too. But sure, Teresa deserved a ring way more than Nav. I will agree with that. Cool Cat saying, I took a course that showed data on different ways of leadership of men and women. Teresa's performance shows up on that data, inspiring for girls growing up. Love her too. Yeah, honestly, I want to put her on more on blast. In some ways, people just don't know who she is. And in some ways, she's just as important to our leadership as Bobby and Masai. For sure. And for sure. In some ways, with Masai, if you ask him, he'd say, oh, she's the boss. She's the boss. I'm not the boss. She's the boss. That's what he says all the time about her. That she is really like the driving force and the boss of the Raptors in some ways. He's the figurehead boss. And in some ways, the buck stops here with him. But who knows how much she actually adjudicates and decides with leadership without him having to be even involved. She's like, I trust Teresa. She knows what she's doing. She will take care of this. And boom, she has a lot of power because Masai trusts her. And we trust in Masai. Well, Masai trusts in Teresa. That's how it goes right there. And she is very much a great role model for young women to go into sports and really dream and believe that you can be one of the leaders of a sports franchise like the Raptors. Yep. Leslie's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. I really believe that women in male-dominated sports have so much to prove. I'm happy Teresa is in a progressive city like Toronto. Yeah, it's a really, really amazing thing. It's a great relationship. And honestly, it's the way it should be. And I'm so happy that we have that room to allow for this. That's right. Nameless is laughing. Nameless thinks I said something funny. I'm not sure what it was from earlier. I'm sure it was pretty funny, though. Dana's saying she got me on blast. I love that, Dana. Thank you, Dana, for putting me on blast. Y'all give me a cutoff, even though I know I'm going a little long today. I will go over 2 hours. It's fine. We'll do 2.5 hours. But after that, I don't want to go much longer. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. It's MK. Good to see MK. Meredith, always good to see MK in the chat with us when he can make it. Wasn't able to comment on this yesterday, but I'm very disappointed we didn't get a WNBA team, but it's okay. I still think we are next on the list. We just need to show ownership. It's worth it. In some ways, I don't know if they will. In some ways, this was the best time for us, Meredith, but you're right. We need to just see what the future holds. It may be easier for the WNBA to investigate other Canadian cities at this point, though. If it's not, MLSE is not interested, it's really they kill this market because they have the best infrastructure in all the different kind of ways to make sure the WNBA is successful in Toronto for sure. And the WNBA may not be interested in working with people from the CEBL because in some ways that is a part that's not part of the NBA. And the WNBA really is a part of the NBA. And in some ways, I don't know if it would work with the CBL, but maybe it would. I don't know. I'm open-minded to it, but right now, this really hurts. It could be that we don't get another chance to come around to this for a few years. That this isn't going to be the kind of thing where the WNBA is going to take rejection very well and say, well, they rejected us the last time. Why are we going to put the energy, the time, and the effort and try and do this if it's just going to get to the end of the process and they're going to say, oh, we've dropped our bid. So in some ways, it is damaging for when they're going to ask us again. Is what I'm saying. And in some ways, if we want to expedite a WNBA team in Canada, it's probably going to have to happen in another metropolitan city. Unfortunately, I hate it. Maybe it should come to be with you guys in Ottawa, MK. Maybe you get the WNBA team in the nation's capital of Ottawa. Maybe that would work really well. Who knows? Who knows? Isaac saying nice at Fiercey. Also, Wob Kinew in Manitoba. That's his name. Representation matters. That's right. That's right. That's part of the problem with Masai and Ed. Ed is a xenophobic, racist, crazy ass, money grubbing Trump lover who's anti promotion of woke things. This is very true. In some ways, we have a very woke NBA team that we follow. We have people like Teresa and Masai that are trying to elevate people and bring them up to equal level with other people. And Ed Rogers is against that. And in some ways, he has Trump philosophies. And that is part of the conflict, is basically like it's woke versus anti-woke. And to a degree that we are so woke and we do all kinds of stuff that drives Ed Rogers crazy. That drives him crazy. Seriously, in some ways, he does not like Masai's connections to Africa. I'm sure. In some ways, he does not like the growth of Canada in growth of basketball in Canada or the growth of women's sports in Canada. He's anti these kind of things. Trust me, because he has the mindset of a Donald Trump, and that's scary in some ways. That is part of the conflict in our team. Just so y'all know. Let's see. Monique has got a link to the open practice video. Okay, so there it is. Look at Mo came and gave us the practice video right there. So if y'all really want to see, I'm gonna hit it right now. Mo, we want to get the whole long stream, and G saying that is something there. There's actually a longer whole thing that G says is out there. So hopefully we can find that. Cool Cat saying Yahoo Sports Canada have a recording of some of the game. Then other preseason games start at 12. Okay, so I'm going to try and find that. That's what I want to see. I want to see an extended cut of the open practice from last night. I Don't Bite's here. Good to see I Don't Bite. It's been a little bit. Hi, Raptor Freak. What do you think of Harden staying with the Sixers? Will Nick Nurse get Embiid, Harden, and Maxey in sync to win a championship? Okay, I Don't Bite is a Sixers nation, and he's coming in friendly, so we'll answer his question. I don't think he's staying with the Sixers. I think that he's showed up just so the final stages of a deal to the Clippers can happen. It's really sounding like y'all are going to get possibly Terrence Mann and a couple picks for James. He's not staying with y'all. You can think that right now. He showed up because he's sick. He doesn't want to get fined unnecessarily. He can show up and just be there. He doesn't. His heart's not in it. He doesn't fucking want to play for Nick. So there's the part of it is, well, James, we can help you get traded if you come and work with us. So he's there to work with them, and he really is openly saying he's ready to go to the Clippers tomorrow. So yeah, this isn't happening, and the Clippers are going to get him very soon, and y'all may get Terrence Mann in return. So yeah, don't expect him to stay. Staying with the Sixers is not what's happening right now. He's very much at the last stages of getting his ass shipped out. Will Nick Nurse get Embiid, not Harden, and Maxey in sync to win a championship? No, he will not. Because in some ways, the fit of him coaching y'all's team was stupid in the first place. Listen, Doc Rivers in some ways was a better coach than Nick is for y'all. And the part of the reason why is because he will baby and take care of Embiid. Nick's not going to do that. You're going to find this out very, very quickly. You know, Nick overdoes it with his main players. He did that with Siakam and Van Vliet in the last couple of years. He really doted on them to the detriment of the development of the other players on the team. Y'all think that he's going to be egalitarian and he's going to share the ball with everybody, and you think all this other bullshit. I've been hearing it this week from y'all, and I'm laughing at what I'm hearing from Sixers camp. He's not going to do this shit for y'all. He's going to double down on the strength of Joel Embiid, and he's going to work him to the ground. You don't understand this. He's not creative in this kind of way. He's going to double down on his strengths and overuse them to the point where he's going to get your big man hurt. And that I can see that happening. You listen to me right now, my prediction, and you see how long it takes till Joel has some sort of injury this year. Because Nick's going to overuse him and overrun him, and he won't be able to take it. He really won't. I called this as soon as y'all got him. And in some ways, Joel is kind of unsure about him coaching because of these reasons. Well, it's going to happen. Watch. And you may not like what I'm saying, but this is my honest opinion of what's going to happen with you guys. In fact, I think y'all be worse this year than you were last year. I think you may be shocked to find that out this year. That the Sixers won't be as top dog in the Eastern Conference as you were last year. Last year was a good year for y'all on the down low, and you didn't realize it. And this year is going to look different. It's not going to be as easy as you think. In some ways, I'm really looking forward to the first Philadelphia-Toronto matchup on the 28th, because in some ways, it's two new coaches trying to establish their new systems. And in some ways, they're just as bad of detriment as we are, is finding things out and getting things smoothed out. In fact, I think we may have figured our shit out quicker, and we may be able to beat y'all's ass on the first game of the season against y'all when you come to Toronto on the 28th. That really is going to be an interesting test, because it's two brand new coaches with two brand new teams. And the other thing with the Sixers on the down low that people aren't talking about enough is y'all have had a lot of turnover on your roster. There's not the same people around this team that were there 2 years ago or even last year. You have a lot of new faces, and there's a lot of different things that got to be figured out. So yeah, I'm not painting a rosy picture for y'all. I think that both you and the Celtics are overvalued and overhyped right now, and you're both going to have worse years this year than you did last year. So that's my real opinion. That's it right there. And I'm sorry, you can bite me now. Wait, you don't bite? Okay, good. I'm all right. Basic training saying, if we're being honest, Kawhi is the reason the Raptors have a chip. Not Nurse, not Casey, but Kawhi. You know what? Listen, once again, he's kind of like Nurse. He came in at the last second and did the last finishing touches at the end of it. You can kind of say what you're saying, but you know what? I'll always say this. Kawhi needed us to win that championship just as much as we needed him. So it's not just, and in some ways, that's what casual US fan says, is what you're saying right there. That's bullshit. That Kawhi needed Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Danny Green, and all the rest of them just as much as we needed him. So, yeah, I don't like people that say this in some ways. I really don't, basic training, because it poo-poos the effort and the things that we built up way before Nick and Kawhi were in charge and did those things. So I'm not totally about that. It's a very much a lot of them were needed and necessary, and it had to happen a certain way. Marc Gasol had to be at a certain place in his career and really, really want and hit championship. Siakam had to do certain things. Freddie had to do certain things. It was a team effort. Sure, Kawhi was our franchise overpowering guy that took it home and really kept us alive in the playoffs at times. I'll give him that credit. But he needed us just as much as we needed him. And that's the thing that a lot of Americans down south don't say enough. They don't. Let's see. G saying, to be honest, Masai is the reason we won a chip. There you go. Boom. That trumps it all right there. Built that team since 2013 from trading Bargnani, getting Jakob from those picks to trading Jakob and Demar for Kawhi, retaining Kyle and trading for Gasol. Yep, and yeah. But basic training saying Masai wasn't carrying the team on the court. Kawhi was. Well, there's no Masai. There's no Kawhi without Masai. So I'm sorry, basic training day. I'm going to go with G on this. We're going to give Masai the kudos for that championship overall the most, because he's the one who built it up for 10 years and got it to that point. He's the one who kept faith in Dwayne Casey without firing him, even though he wasn't his hire, and kept him around. He's the one that orchestrated and allowed all these players to show up and be the right championship mix to get there, including Kawhi Leonard. So, yeah, listen. Once again, I feel like Kawhi is a very talented student in the class, but he's the one who showed up at the end of the work on the group project. And maybe he did the presentation in front of everybody, and he was really good in the presentation, and we got an A+ for it. But he didn't do the work. He just got up in front of everybody and did the speaking and the public vision of it. He wasn't the one who did actually all the really hard work that made the project go really well. That's kind of how I look at it right there. Isaac Campbell saying Nick Nurse will certainly make sure the Sixers hit the floor all right. That makes actually, you know what? That reminds me, on Teresa Resch's Twitter, she has one highlight from that Philadelphia series where Embiid falls flat on his face because of Thad Young's crossover. That's how I knew she's a real one like us. That play was so fun and awesome to her that she had to repost it on her Twitter. The Thad Young crossover where Joel falls on his face. You know the one I'm talking about. All right, yeah. Nick Nurse will certainly make sure the Sixers hit the floor all right. Embiid won't need an excuse like flopping to lay down on that hardwood. 200 minutes plus 5 players equals a casket. Yeah, he's not going to be like, listen, I know Maxi's going to be all right. But some of those guys that are on the end of your bench that are coming up, like Jaden Springer, guys that are young and could really get somewhere, they're going to be in trouble because Nick's around. He horrible development coach. Horrible development coach. Y'all think he's a good development coach, but he's not. He really isn't. Jama Mahlalela is a good development coach, and that's what we're finding out. And we'll see. We'll see all this. I think they will hit the floor. They're going to hit the floor, all right. G saying Masai built the team. One player can't carry a team. Masai traded for Kawhi through multiple moves since 2013. That team was the best defensive team in the playoffs too. Yep. I got to get behind G on this. Basic Train saying all-time greats like Kawhi carry teams incapable of winning without him to championships. See, Basic Train, once again, don't put us down to prop up Kawhi. That's a big no-no here. We love Kawhi. We honor him for what he did, but he's not one of our greatest Raptors ever because in some ways he was here for too short a time. And in some ways, he showed like his priorities and stuff by not honoring our championship to try and repeat. So I don't give him kudos like everybody does. I respect him, and he was essential to us winning the championship. I'll agree with that, but I don't over give him credit. And in some ways, I feel like that's what you're doing right now. I feel like that. You know, you could say no Kawhi, no Chip, but there's a lot of people out there that wonder about Demar and the possibilities if he had been still here in that year. You can say that, but there's woulda, coulda, shoulda shit. And it doesn't mean that I'm wrong or you're wrong. We don't know because it didn't happen that way. So we don't know if no Kawhi means no Chip. That may very well be likely, but that's bullshit, hearsay. That doesn't mean anything because it doesn't have any reality to it. You can say that you think that, but we don't know. There may have been an alternate universe that where we still won the championship last year without making the Kawhi deal with Demar still on our team. Some people wonder that. There's some experts that have actually said that recently, that they think that the Raptors could have won the championship with DeMar DeRozan still here instead of Kawhi. So, and G saying, no Masai, no Chip. Without Masai, there's no Kawhi. It's like a chicken or the egg thing. And that's why G's right. It's a chicken or the egg thing. It's like, which came first, the chicken or egg? Well, Masai came first, and he allowed for Kawhi to happen. So G's right. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. Kawhi didn't voluntarily come here to help the team. Masai took a huge risk to make it happen. There you go. And basic training days to say, does Masai play? Yeah, he does, motherfucker. He does play. He plays in the GM world of the arena, and he kicks ass all the time. So, yeah, Masai is playing. He's playing the part of the GM and the team president that makes things happen. So, yeah, there you go. A front office guy doesn't play. Yeah, he does. He plays in the arena of the GMs, the other GMs, and he has to compete in those areas all the time. So, yeah, in some ways, basic training, Dow does protest too much against my good friend G on this subject. And you're not going to get anywhere with this, with us. Trust me, you're not. We'll give him the kudos. We'll say, yeah, you're our finals MVP. We thank you. Thank you for coming here. Fuck you, Uncle Dennis. And yeah, that's all. That's all I think about it. I'm not going to give him kudos. No, I treat him with the same energy he treated us. How about that, basic training day? I'm not going to kiss his ass in the ways that some people do because I give him as much as he gave us. And that's the difference right there. You go ahead and kiss his ass if you want to, but I'm not going to. No, I'm not. Let's see. He's also saying, and Masai lied and was disloyal to DeMar, but he gets a pass because it worked. Yeah, he did lie to DeMar. I won't disagree with that. And yeah, he was disloyal to him, but that's the G that he is. And in some ways, that shows how good he is at what he does. That he made a very, very calculated risk, and it worked out. And that should tell you right there. That's a big part of it right there. Isaac saying, then won a championship. What a baller that Masai dude is. Exactly. Isaac Campbell, once again, boom, goes the dynamite. Thank you, Isaac. Masai was on the floor dominating Steph Curry in the finals, apparently. Laugh out loud. All right, you're just being silly now. You know, Fred did a really good job with Steph. So I'm going to give Fred credit for the Steph Curry stuff. Paul B saying, Dennis sure gives a lot of access. I think he'll do that same during the regular season. Yes, he will, Paul. He's done this for the last few seasons in LA. This is part of the reason why the Laker fans love him so much. None of them are hating on him. If you see his posts, Laker Nation comes in there and say, "We love you, Dennis. We wish you well. We're actually rooting for you on the Raptors." So we have a contingency of Laker Nation that is actually rooting for us this year, partly because of Dennis. So I love it. I love it. That's a testament to who he is. That, you know, Laker Nation's flaky and toxic and weird and very like about them, but they have enough love for Dennis to get outside of their Laker head up their ass mentality to be like really loyal and good fans to him, even though he's not playing for them anymore. That's a testament to who he is. And yeah, Paul, you're going to see everything. You're going to see Ellen show up and show us the new place they're living in. He's going to show us all kinds of stuff. We're going to get a supplemental open gym kind of thing from Dennis all year. He's going to do it all year, and you're going to see very intimate stuff, very, very intimate stuff. The ability to know what's going on with this team is going to increase, partly because Dennis's content will be coming out. Now, we'll see how much other Raptors are involved in it, if at all. That may be something that it may be just his private life himself, and that's it. but he's all about putting on blast. And in some ways, he said recently that it's been a really good effect on his life because people know him better and they understand him better. And it's been good public relations. And he's found that he's not as vilified around NBA circles because people actually see who he is and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's so awesome. He's a good dude. And it's been really good PR for him. So doing the YouTube channels has been absolutely very smart and very good. If he has nothing to hide and he's an interesting person and people eat it up, yeah, they're going to fall in love with him just like Laker Nation did too already. Raptor Nation will be next. That's right. That's right. G saying front office creates and builds a team. There's an entire process to winning a chip, building, trading, drafting, developing over years. The team was built out for Kawhi to join. Yeah. Like I said, once again, it's just like a school group project. You have the people that do all the work, get it all set up. And Kawhi came in, he took the microphone, he stood up in front of everybody, and he did the presentation. He killed it. He absolutely killed it. But he did not do a lot of that work that led up to it over the 10 years leading up to it. No, we didn't. And that's what G's trying to say here. Isaac's saying there's no I in Masai. Oh, wait, there is. And Masai built a championship team. That's right. In some ways, it's like the championship team's not just on the court. It's the team that includes Teresa Resch also. And that there's a whole lot that goes to winning an NBA championship other than just the finals MVP, the best franchise player that the Raptors had and that played at a high level. There's so much more to it. That's the tip of the iceberg you're looking at with him, with Kawhi. There you go. Basic Train saying no Kawhi, no chip. You know, you sound like a broken record. If you can give me some other stuff, I'll be fine with it. But if you're going to draw out my stream today, would just sound like a broken record. I'm not going to be happy about that. Basic Training saying, we don't give the front office the same credit as the most impactful player. That's asinine. Well, maybe to a casual like you, that's asinine. We're deeper than that. You know, in some ways, your take is a casual's take. Your take is somebody's take from like watching the team since 2019. That's what heavily we watched Casey's years. We watched the buildup. You watched it too. Okay, I won't discredit you, but in some ways, that's a casual take you're taking right now. That's very casual, very casual. Let's see. Basic Training saying if Masai didn't lie to Demar after all the years Demar put in, I'd hold him to a high regard. But as a hooper, I don't respect that. I didn't either. I hated Masai for it that summer. I was in confusion that summer of 2018. I was like, I don't understand what's going on with this team. And it made me sad. I really love DeMar. I love him to this day. He's one of my favorite Raptors of all time. But I can forgive Masai for this. And in some ways, DeMar got his revenge in the play-in game this past year with his daughter yelling at us and us getting embarrassed on our own home court. Yeah, we're even. We're even with DeMar at this point. I consider what happened this past year, we're evened up. And there's no more animosity. In some ways, he loves us, and he will be a respected, loved Raptor legend with his jersey in the Raptors, and he'll be fine. There's nothing wrong with this. In some ways, the love between the Raptors organization and DeMar is healed. And, you can hold a grudge for DeMar, and maybe he does in some ways still hold grudges in some ways, but overall he doesn't. He doesn't. He loves OG and Pascal. He loves Fred. He loves the guys on the team. He loves Pirtle. So you can hold a grudge for DeMar if you want. I don't think he does anymore himself, just so you know. And it may be that he's had way more personal growth in his life over the last 5 years than you have, is what I'll say. Isaac Campbell's saying he's got a Masai and Teresa. And he's putting them on blast. He's got Pascal. He's got Scotty, Dennis, and OG. Dana's saying if Drake's song starts with a time, it's going to be fire. I want to listen to the whole album. I'll probably listen to it either today or tomorrow or some point when I get a chance. I'll probably listen to the whole album. I want to see all the different little bells and whistles and secrets of for all the dogs. G saying the Raptors are known to make the least moves. Celtics traded Smart, Bucks, Drew. They wanted to be lifers and were blindsided. Unfortunately, it's a part of the business. Exactly. G's got a great point. Marcus Smart didn't want to leave the Celtics this summer. Drew Holiday had said the day before he got traded that he wanted to retire a Buck. This is the business, man. This is the nature of it. And these guys know it. And it's sad and unfortunate. And, Masai continues to get loyalty from guys and people that, they trust Masai, even though there's a very blatant example of not you shouldn't trust Masai with Demar. So in some ways, it's like, look, that may be an aberration, the whole Demar thing that happened. In some ways, Masai saying recently that we want to respect our players like Kyle and Fred on their exit and do them right by them for their time served and what their accomplishments are with our team. We want to respect that. And you can take that as being a fuck up for not trading Fred at the trade deadline earlier this year, stuff like that. But in some ways, there's that honor we're talking about. There's that respect. And in some ways, the deal was too good to not get Kawhi Leonard that he did have to stab Demar in the back. So, listen, he's doing his job. He's making tough decisions, and he put his neck on the line, and it paid off. And that's how I look at it right there. Basic Training is saying the ghostwriters were in their bag on 8 a.m. in Charlotte, and Conductor Williams produced a classic as usual. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that Drake is using a lot of like other people's stuff in different places. Like he's taking songs that were given to him from like years ago and putting them on this album all of a sudden. And like even that lyric he had in the video yesterday, he's like, y'all send me songs, I'll give you songs. That's fine. Here, I'll just give you free ones. No, you don't have to get me back, bro. Don't worry about it. It's like that's very interesting flex. In that song from that video yesterday, 8 a.m. in Charlotte. Very, very interesting flex. Shaq Lindsay saying, have you ever been to a Roots concert? Best live performance hip hop band ever. Well, I know that they're the house band for Jimmy Fallon on his Tonight Show. And, the Roots are very talented ensemble of a band where they can play with anybody. I mean, they're really kind of doing that late night talk show kind of like thing. And yeah, it's cool. Questlove, yeah, they're. I've heard good things about them. I've never seen them myself though. Paul B saying I couldn't get through that Drake song. Wake me up when it's done. New King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is what I'm currently rocking. Yeah, that came out. There's a couple of new things that have come out recently that I've been very interested in. Peter Gabriel's got new music out. I know I'm really showing that I'm an old head. That I'm very excited about. Peter Gabriel's stuff out right now. But yeah, I knew about the new King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They've been very prolific in the last couple of years, putting out a lot of albums and a lot of videos. But yeah, Drake's fine. I'm expecting him to have a good video coming up soon. It's just like I said, I didn't like how much Adonis was so prominent in that video. I'm not about exploiting children in those kind of ways. In some ways, like DR should have never been known as a person, and Demar like didn't like that. And in some ways, putting Adonis so on blast like this, I get it. You're gonna make him famous. In some ways, he's gonna be set up for his life. Who knows? I want to see where he grows up to be as an adult. In some ways, fame and being famous when you're very little is not good for a person. Let's just put it that way. Stargate saying a truck with bees turned over on the highway a few weeks ago. Don't know if you remember, Lex. I do remember hearing about that too. And the amazing thing about that story was all the local beekeepers like went into their like phone booths like Superman. Seriously, like the beekeepers were like, we got to save the bees. And they came in on force and they really came in and showed the power of beekeepers in saving the bees. That's the thing I learned from that story was these beekeepers are like superheroes. They're ready to come to when the bat signal is shown. They're out there and ready to come and save those bees real quick. And I appreciate them, honestly. I try to get the backyard here at my place very pollinator friendly. In fact, I'm very pleased right now in October, we've got blooms out back for pollinators to still jump on, goldenrod and asters and flowers like that. So I commend those bee people for being superheroes that day. That was awesome. I was all about that. Let's see. Where was I? Leslie saying all of our most Canadian musicians seem to have crazy health issues. Celine, Shania, Justin, Avril, and now Drake. Wow. Yeah, I have no idea what his stomach issue is, but that is part of the reasoning for why he needs a break. Who knows? I was hoping he was taking a break from music because he's getting a partnership group together to buy MLSE. Do that. Quit music for a while and just get into sports management right now, Drake, and oust Ed Rogers, please. There's my cutoff from Isaac Campbell. I love it. Thank you. Mo saying Drake even added Dylan Brooks, Corey, and DeVoe. Joseph to his lyrics. Great stream, Lex, all around today and every day. Keep at it as always. Go Raptors. Yeah, Dylan Brooks made the cut in his lyrics. That's part of the fun of the Drake albums when they come out, is seeing all the little references. And I love that he's doing stuff like putting props to like Corey and DeVoe, Joseph, and their time in the Toronto high school basketball scene. He's even alluding to growing up in town and having that student pass to get to travel out of the city. Yeah, there's a lot of cool little Easter eggs on Drake's album that are very Toronto in different ways. Stargate saying, Leslie, don't forget Nelly Furtado. Yeah, she's another great Canadian artist. Alanis, all them. Alanis is another one you should have on that list. She's had health issues too. Stargate is saying also basic training day about to get reamed. Wait for it. Yeah, I mean, it's not really like that. I mean, he's right. Kawhi was essential in some ways to us winning, but we don't know for sure. It could have been Demar. I just don't like overly giving him kudos. It's just a very American thing to do. People on that side of the border really say, well, Kawhi is the Raptors championship, and that's it. And that's such a fucking like full of shit take. Seriously. That's demeaning and insulting to Kyle Lowry. It's demeaning and insulting to Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka and Pascal Siakam and all Norman Powell. So yeah, in some ways, it's like I don't like that take. And anybody who's kind of holding that take, it's like I don't agree with you. Kawhi needed us just as much as we needed him. Cowboys saying, good morning, Lex and the Raptor Freaks. Bam, just dropped in, just saying, what's up? I'm in Barrie, painting, trying to hurry up and get back to Toronto. Later, everybody, let's go Raptors. You go, Cowboy. Enjoy your time up north near Lake Simcoe at Barrie. Hopefully, it's a smooth job and you can get back to Toronto soon. That's right. Tom Duke saying, spit it out, people. Chat cutoff. Have a great Thanksgiving game day weekend, everyone. Tom Duke saying, spit it out, people. Ah! Type it out. Yes, Scotty's on blast with Isaac. Blackhawks here. Good to see Neil. Always happy to see Neil in the chat with us. Another group will have to bring WNBA to Toronto. Maybe they can partner with the Global Jam facilities and Scotiabank. Anything is possible. Well, that's the hard thing. MLSE owns Scotiabank. And if WNBA wants Scotiabank to be the home arena for a WNBA team here, well, if MLSE saying no, it's not going to happen. It's not like they're going to, if another ownership group tries to do it in Scotiabank, they're going to have to pay crazy rents to the MLSE, and it won't make it economically feasible. So then we start thinking about other locations. We think about Rico. Well, that's MLSE also. It's like you can't put them at the exhibition place because that is MLSE owned also. Then you start thinking about MATME. MATME, that may work with the CBL ownership group. Maybe that would work. You know, maybe Drake could own the WNBA team because he's got enough money to do that. I don't know. It's a weird situation. And in some ways, I think we lost our chance this time because we fumbled it, and it's Ed Rogers' fault. But we'll see if we get another chance in the future. They may not come back so soon. There's other teams that are maybe more hungry in other cities, and they'll get it to line up better like Golden State did. I hate it so much. Oh, my gosh, I hate it so much. Blackhawks saying Tim cancels out Ed. Tim Lewicki? Yeah. Oh, man. Amit Gaming's here. Good to see Amit the GOAT talking to us from Israel. We love Amit. He's a great competitor. And I saw you picked up Marjan Beauchamp in the fantasy league in the last day or so. Good stuff, Amit. Yo, what's up, y'all? Good morning. Y'all probably have not heard what's happening here in Israel, but to sum it up, terrorists from Palestine have invaded the south part of Israel and have launched 5,000 rockets. You know, I've heard some news about this. Actually, I was aware of this things that are happening. In some ways, I know this is like a normal kind of thing that happens around there in different ways. Now, Amit, I'm going to say something right now, and I don't want to lose you as somebody on this channel. In some ways, my views on Israel and Palestine may not totally line up with yours. In some ways, you know what, I'm all about reparations and atrocities that happened in World War II. But I think the whole idea of what's going on over there is kind of not totally exactly the right way of doing it. So in some ways, I'm going to bow out on this one. You live in that country, and my opinion doesn't really matter on this. But I'm going to tell you right now, it may not be the same opinion as yours. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, I've heard about it in the news. We are hearing about it over there. You could say terrorism on one side, but I say there's terrorism on both sides. And especially when people are shooting people at people's funerals and public streets while people are holding caskets. So yeah, there's terrorism on both sides. And neither side is right to a degree. And in some ways, this situation should have never been caused that's going on over there, as far as I'm concerned. So we may not line up on that. But you know what? If you bring it up, I'll say a little bit about it. But in some ways, I don't want to touch this. Seriously, this is not an area of things that I really want to espouse on too much. This has been a conflict and a thing that's been going on for a long time. And the answers aren't simple or easy. And I don't want to alienate people because of my own personal beliefs on this situation. In some ways, I stand with Palestine. Let's just put it that way. Stargate saying, training day, you about to get blasted. Get my popcorn. Fiercely saying, Isaac, agreed. Representation definitely matters. Definitely matters. Definitely matters. Stargate saying, so why haven't the Clippers won with Kawhi? There you go. Stargate giving them more fuel to the argument. And Shaq Lindsay saying, we're forgetting the best move we made this offseason was hiring new coaching staff and a development team. The system is going to trump and make players flourish. I agree with this. Shaq Lindsay. I'm excited about that. And also saying no one's bigger than the system. Everyone's going to touch the ball and contribute. I'm all about that. And David's saying basic training day has been a troll all week. Go back to Philly. I don't know if he's still here at this point. Monique is giving the cutoff, and David Saborin has got clowns like crazy. And Evelyn's saying Drake said that he's going to pay the OSAP of all the students who were at the concert last night. Wow. That is crazy, awesome, and amazing. And Stargate saying, let's go, Raps. Tomorrow night, our first look, not really looking for a win, just progress with the offensive schemes for now. There you go. There you go. I'm all about that. And Trevor J saying, basic training day, song like the movie Training Day, King Kong ain't got nothing on him. Well, we got you, bro. You'll be out of here. I didn't kick him out. And if he stuck around and listened to us, it's all good. I don't want to single him out too much, but it's just like he was harping that point a little bit too much. Wayne saying, I agree with you, Lex. Yeah, okay, well, I'll leave it there. All right, y'all, thanks for watching me. Really, today was all about celebrating women and celebrating one specifically, Teresa Resch, somebody who's a very great leader in our Raptors organization, somebody who's a trailblazer, somebody who's the wind beneath the wings of the organization. In some ways, I could make an argument that Teresa Resch has more responsibility for the Toronto Raptors championship than Kawhi Leonard in some ways. I could really make that argument. And that may make basic training day really crazy. Oh my gosh, you think Teresa Resch was more integral to the Raptors championship? In some ways I do. Yeah. Teresa, I know you really wanted the WNBA here in Toronto, and I hate that this happened this way, but you keep going on and keep on. I know you won't give up. That's the way you've always been in every situation in your whole entire life. We love you, Teresa, and you keep on keeping on. We wanted to share love for you today and put you a little bit more on blast than you are normally. I appreciate everybody watching me today. Tomorrow, I will be doing the first preview of this new season. We're starting a preseason preview for our game against the Sacramento Kings in Vancouver tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So join me at 9:30 a.m., maybe a little earlier. We know how I like to do things. And I will have a new format for my previews tomorrow. I'm working it all out today, finalizing it. I've got most of it already figured out. But yeah, it's going to be a different kind of feel for the preview streams coming up now, guys. Mascot matchup is gone, Tom. It's not going to be called that anymore. It's going to be called something different. We're not doing the mascot matchup this year. It's going to be called something different. And it's going to be a whole different kind of thing. It's not going to be the same thing at all. Those 2 years of doing the mascot matchup were fun. And it may come back in another season. But this year, it's not going to be called the mascot matchup anymore. I have to change the name because it's not going to be what it is at this point. It's not what it's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be different. All right, Isaac. And he's got the turkeys out there for Canadian Thanksgiving. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Remember, this weekend's about being with your family and your loved ones and your friends. And just share what you're grateful for and gratitude and thankfulness. And that will always make life better and easier for you. So please have gratitude in your life. That's what Thanksgiving is for. Practicing gratitude and saying what you're thankful for. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll be back tomorrow around 9:30 a.m. for a preview. All right, let's go, Teresa. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go, Masai. And let's go, Raptors, especially those Raptors to get on the court tomorrow against the Kings, baby. Let's